All right, what's going on, everybody? Back again. Same old bat channel, same old bat story. I mean, it's just we're back where we started here again. We're still talking about the same situation. Fight has not been announced. To be perfectly honest with you, I just don't think the fight's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen next year. Um, I know a lot of people want this fight to happen, and they're hoping this fight's going to happen. But the reality of the situation is there's more going on behind the scenes than is being told to us. That's just it. Okay. Eddie Hearn, again, since January, has been telling us that this fight is close. It's almost done. We're just working out the fine details. But we don't get the results. We're not getting the announcements. We're going to announce it by the end of this week. He keeps saying week after week after week. And it's just not happening. And then we're told we have to be positive, we have to be optimistic. Well, what is there to be positive about? What is there to be optimistic about when Eddie Hearn continues to tell us the same thing week after week and he doesn't deliver? The fight doesn't get delivered. And then we're hearing these statements like, well, Eddie Hearn's doing all the work. He's coming out there. He's the one that actually came out with these statements. And now all the fans are just repeating his own talking points. I'm the one doing all the work. If anyone can get this fight over the line, it's me. What is Bob Arum and Frank Warren doing? Blah, 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 blah. So you're hearing him talk about himself more so than the fight itself. He's made himself the focal point of this fight where it really shouldn't be. And he's created himself as this sympathetic figure to the public where everyone's like, well, you know what? Hearn's doing all the work. Why can't Bob Arum and Frank Warren help? Frank Warren and Bob Arum don't really want the fight. Once again, repeating an Eddie Hearn talking point because you're critical of him, because you're holding him accountable to his statements, his reply and his cop-out to that is, well, anyone who criticizes me doesn't want this fight to happen. No. People are criticizing you because they want you to be held accountable for what you're saying. You misled the public into thinking that this was almost done, that it was easy to make, that there was no problems in the background. Don't worry about COVID. Don't worry about the fighters. Don't worry about Wilder. Don't worry about the arbitration. This is going to get done, I promise you. And then all of a sudden, 4 months later, we're back to where we were. It's like Groundhog Day all over again. Day after day after day, it's the same old story. Now when he's being asked questions about the fight, about the $150 million alleged site fee offer, now what he's saying is, he doesn't want to talk about it. Now he's saying, well, I don't want to release dates. I don't want to say anything anymore. I've already said too much. Why? Because now he himself has realized that maybe this fight wasn't as easy to make as he thought. Thank you so much, Tiny Tim. He said Arum changed his tune after the arbitration meeting. Possibly. But again, we're hearing all this information being put out there, but nothing has been confirmed by anyone. When Eddie was asked about the $150 million site fee, he didn't confirm it. When I've asked Arum questions about finances before in the past, he never confirms the number. Where did you get that figure? Press. Where'd they get it? Source. Don't believe that source. They're bullshitting you. So again, this is what boxing has become. Boxing media has just been able to put sources in front of any headline, and automatically we're just supposed to believe them. And time after time after time, the usual suspects are always wrong. The Chris Mannixes of the world, the Mark Kriegels of the world, the Mike Coppingers of the world. They love to put out these rumors, and then when the rumors don't come true, oh, well, this is what the source told me. It's not my fault. It's the source's fault. They told me, they gave me the wrong. No, you need to really vet your sources and get reliable, qualified sources. That's what you need. That's what you need. You can't sit there and just talk to anybody that's going to tell you what you want to hear, that's going to give you a clickbait headline and put it out there. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's not credible journalism. That's not what you're supposed to do. So meanwhile, all these fans out there basically making Eddie Hearn this sympathetic figure. Oh, Eddie's working so hard. No one's helping. Poor Eddie. I'm the one doing all the work. I'm the one. If I can't get it over the line, no one can get it over the line. If anyone can get it over the line, it's me. Making it all about him. Because he's in competition with guys like Frank Warren. He's in competition with guys like Bob. Listen, Bob Arum has been part of the biggest fights in the history of the sport. Okay, he's been promoting fights since 1971. Okay? Pacquiao Mayweather grossed $600 million. It's a $600 million fight. Bob Arum promoted the Thriller in Manila. He promoted Hagler Hearns, Hagler Leonard, Hagler Duran, Foreman Moore, Foreman Holyfield. Like, how many big events does this guy have to put on? Like, you think this is his first rodeo? Like, he all of a sudden he doesn't know what he's doing? And then, what is Bob Arum doing? Bob Arum, even during that Pacquiao Mayweather negotiations, he had Todd DeBuff doing most of the work. He delegated most of the work to him. You know what I'm saying? So again, what is Frank Warren and Bob Arum supposed to do at this point? What do they need? What are they supposed? What do you want them to do, Eddie? What do you want them to do, Eddie? Oh, I have many offers. No. You don't have many. The only offer basically you had, the only viable offer that you had was Saudi. So stop pretending that you had all the. No one wanted to take a gamble on this fight under these circumstances with COVID. Okay? Nobody wanted to do it. How do we even know how legitimate that offer from Saudi really is? Where's the proof of funds, Eddie? Where's the binding agreement, Eddie? Why does the contract have to continuously be done over? Why is there numerous amounts of drafts on this contract? Why? Explain to me why. That's what I want to know. So let's read some quotes here from some of these articles. Before I get into that, let me just say one other thing. Everyone's like, why is Eddie doing all the work and blah, 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 blah. Well, Eddie is the one that decided to take the lead here. He's the one that decided, hey, I already have this relationship with Saudi because I did the Andy Ruiz-Joshua 2 fight. Let me handle it. So he took the lead. And then everyone's like, well, why is Bob Arum and Frank Warren being so negative and pessimistic? Well, again, I call Bob Arum up and try to get interviews with him, and more often than not, I get them. People are calling these guys up, asking them for interviews, and they're giving interviews, and they're being asked questions, and they're replying to questions that are being answered, that are being asked by the press. So what do you want them to do, lie? I don't know how you can be positive about something that's been talked about since January. We're now in April, and we were told that it was going to, time and time again, that the fight was going to get done. It's almost done. We're going to announce it by the end of the week. We're going to announce it continuously. We've been told it's going to be announced by the end of the week. How do you put a happy face on that? What is there to be positive about? Just fucking tell me. How can someone continuously tell you something is almost done for 4 months straight? For 4 months straight tell you, oh, we're going to have an announcement by the end of the week and not deliver? Eddie Hearn was the one who decided, I'm going to take the lead here. Okay? Now he's sitting there criticizing Arum and Warren. Oh, well, they're not helping me. They don't, oh, they're being negative. They don't really want to fight. See, this is going to be his alibi here when the fight doesn't happen. Oh, well, these guys never really wanted, they never really helped me work on it. They never really, it's Fury's fault. Everyone's trying to set up Fury like, oh, Fury doesn't want to fight. How the fuck do you know what Fury wants? There's a negotiation going on. You have two fighters here of very high stature, okay? There's really no A side, no B side here. So do you think it's just Fury who's has demands that have to be met on his side? You don't think Joshua's side has demands that have to be met too? Why all of a sudden is it Fury that is being the hard guy to negotiate with? What about Joshua? How do you know Joshua's side doesn't have demands that may or may not be met or have or are being met? How do you know it's not like why is it all being blamed on Fury? This is a guy who 3 times went into his opponent's backyard as an underdog, okay? Had everything against him, okay? But yet, he got the job done 3 times when he wasn't supposed to. I thought he won the first Wilder fight. It was a draw, whatever you want to say. He went into his opponent's backyard against Klitschko, had the deck stacked against him there. Everything was in Klitschko's favor. Klitschko was calling the shots. He was a 4-1 underdog. He overcome the odds and made a lot of money on him because I said he was going to win. No one believed me. Everyone laughed at me. But now all of a sudden, now that he did win, many years later, Klitschko was past his prime when he went undefeated for 10 years, never lost a decision in his life. And Fury was the first man to beat him by decision in his whole career. Fury was the first guy to beat him in 10 years. But now all of a sudden, Fury who wasn't ready for Klitschko, who was a 4-1 underdog that everyone gave no shot, all of a sudden now he fought a past his prime Klitschko. Can't have it both ways, guys. Then when he came back after a 3-year layoff and took on Deontay Wilder after 2 warm-up fights, oh, he's going to get destroyed. No, I told you he was going to win. And I thought, my scorecard and many other people's scorecards, he did win. But he got a draw. So then in the second fight, rematch, oh, that was a fluke, whatever. Wilder's going to knock him out in the second fight. And what does he do? He turns around and destroys Wilder. Destroys him, dominates him, and knocks him out. But yet this guy's the guy that doesn't want any smoke. Come on, man. It just doesn't add up. Just doesn't add up. When has Joshua ever been in a situation where he's been the underdog, where he's had to go in his opponent's backyard to win a title, not defend the title, but to win a title? When has he ever had to go in his opponent's backyard? And I'm not disrespecting Joshua. I have nothing against Joshua. All the credit, all the props to him. You know, he's done some great things in the sport of boxing. He deserves all the accolades he's getting. But when has he ever done what Fury has done? Now, you can make the argument, well, Fury's never defended his title. That's a fact. You can make an argument that, you know, all the things that Fury did that made him walk away from the sport for 3 years, the depression situation, the failed PED tests, him backing out of the Klitschko rematch because of claims of mental health issues, whatever. All that is on him. Those are all facts. But we also have to make and give him credit for and make the factual statements. These are facts too, that he went into his opponent's backyard 3 times, was the underdog 3 times, and overcome the odds and got the job done, in my opinion, 3 times. Okay? Got the job done 3 times. So now we got to give him credit for that. He beat a man that was undefeated for 10 years straight, who never lost a decision. He decisioned him. Beat him 10 rounds to 2, 9 rounds to 3 at best. Dominated him. But yet, this is the guy that's avoiding this fight. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. It takes the two sides are negotiating right now, okay? All of a sudden, just because Warren and Arum are telling the truth and Eddie is telling you what you want to hear, automatically you're going to be critical of Arum. You're going to be critical of Warren. You're going to be critical of Fury because they're attached to Arum, because he's attached to Arum, because he's attached to Warren. Now all of a sudden, because one side is telling the truth and the other side maybe isn't telling the full truth, because you like the side that's not possibly telling the full truth, you like what they're telling you, automatically you're going to side with that side because you're being told what you want to hear. You're not being told the truth. And listen, if this fight was close to being done, as Eddie Hearn has said, for the past 4 months, we would have had an announcement by now. Use your fucking common sense, people. You guys are grown men and women. And for you to sit there and say that you're not the least bit skeptical of what's going on behind the scenes here, you're not the least bit skeptical that Eddie Hearn is telling you the whole story. It's all about Eddie. Oh, if anyone can get this over the line, it's me. I'm the one that's doing all the work. Me, 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 me. I. That's what it's all about. He's the one that is making it all about him. So now people are criticizing him. And all of a sudden, if you're critical of someone who's been telling you for the past 4 months, week after week, that the fight is close and it's almost done, but yet no announcement's been made, when he keeps telling you that we're going to get an announcement by the end of the week, or we're going to get an announcement this weekend, we're going to get an announcement Monday, when he keeps telling you this over and over again, and then he doesn't deliver, and then you hold him accountable for it, and then when you try to hold him accountable for it, his response is, oh, you don't really want the fight. And then Chisora says he doesn't think the fight's going to happen. You know what Eddie's response to that is? Why don't you back me? Why aren't you backing me? It's not about you. I just never seen this in my whole life. It's like with P. Diddy and Suge Knight during the East Coast, West Coast rap battle, when Suge Knight said, hey, man, if you don't want someone that's all up in your videos, Eddie Hearn's that guy that wants to be all up in the videos. He wants to be all up in the videos. He wants to be the guy in front of the camera. He wants to be the guy that's getting all the attention. He wants to get as much attention as the fighters are getting without taking a fucking punch. And meanwhile, he's manipulated you guys into believing that he's this Superman, that the guy that saved the sport of boxing, this, that, and the third. He's going to recreate how the sport of boxing is being run. Again, full credit to him. He's done a lot. I think he's done a great job with women's boxing. I love Katie Taylor. I love Tasha Jonas. I love the Courtney Bridges fight was a good fight. Savannah Marshall doing a great job. I think some of these DAZN cards have been really good. I think this Chisora Parker fight is a good fight. I'm not saying he doesn't do good work. I'm not saying that. But when you guys make stupid statements like, Eddie's this, Eddie's that, like when you're talking about Eddie more than you're talking about the fighters, that's like kind of weird to me, how people are fans. Like that would be like me being the fan. Hey, man, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but I'm rooting for the owner instead of the player. Like I'm talking more about the owners of the Boston Celtics than I am the players. Like, in what other sport does this ever happen? Oh, Heyman's this, Heyman, Bob Arum, oh, ESPN versus DAZN. Like, this is so stupid. It's so corny and goofy that you guys are fans of a promoter. The name of the sport is called boxing. It's not called promoting. Okay? It's not called promoting. So I just don't understand you guys. Guys are the weirdest. Boxing fans are the weirdest fans in the world. In the world. I go on Twitter and everyone's sitting there defending Eddie Hearn. Oh, how could you criticize Hearn? He's doing everything possible to make. Because you can criticize him because he's saying the same thing for the past 4 months and he hasn't done what he said he was going to do. That's what it's all about. You're fans of a promoter? You're rooting for a promoter? I've never heard of such a thing. And he's sitting there making it all about him. all about him. All about him. Papoose, let's answer those questions first of all. Let's talk about it. Because I call Bob Arum regularly. Sometimes I talk to him on record, sometimes I talk to him off record. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that Eddie Hearn's not telling you. Why? Because it's not good news. So let's go over some of the stuff that I have found out. Let's go over some of the stuff that I have found out. Okay. First of all, it will take this is what Bob Arum has said. It will take months for the Saudis to do their due diligence on such a huge deal. It is not just a site fee. There are ancillary demands from the Saudis stretching into the broadcast deals and other things. It could take months for it all to play out. It could even take until 2022, the way it looks right now. The fight date in July or August is dead in the water as far as we're concerned. The two fighters need to go out and have other fights this summer while the negotiations for that fight in the Middle East conclude. So again, well, Warren and Arum are not really, because I'll tell you what Warren's saying the same thing, basically. So let's take a look at what Warren said. Here we go with Warren. As far as we stand here now, there hasn't been any contracts, said Warren. I like to believe that the contract will be here soon, but what I was being told on how it's going to be delivered by him, that it's going to be in tomorrow, which we've been hearing every day for God knows how long. Bob Arum's pretty exacerbated about it. It hasn't come in yet, so we'll see. And like this week is the deadline for it, this is the deadline. Okay? Tyson wants to fight. He wants to get out, and we're getting out as soon as we can. Everybody wants the Anthony Joshua fight. That's where the money is. Still, Warren feels that there has to be a limit to things, even things as big and promising as the heavyweight championship fight. At the end of the day, we can't go on forever with this, he says. It gets to a stage where you say to yourself, where is all this? How much longer are we going to wait? Okay? We want a binding offer. I had a conversation yesterday, and I hope that it will come through. That's it. That's all it is. So, again, what good is a contract if it's not binding? There's still things to be worked out here. Okay? To sit here and say that you're not skeptical of whether or not this fight is going to happen, that makes no sense. You could have all of the drafts of a contract you want. If you don't have a real binding contract that both sides agree to, then you don't have a fight. So there's, like Arum said, there's things that are being worked out right now that haven't been worked out. It's more complicated than Eddie Hearn is leading you to believe. Eddie Hearn knows nothing about what's going on behind the scenes with the arbitration between Fury and Wilder. All his response to that is, oh, well, Bob, that will not stand in the way of this fight. How the fuck does he know? How the fuck does he know? Bob and Tyson Fury went out to California to talk about the arbitration with the arbitrator just recently. So again, there's a lot of behind the scenes things going on right now that is holding up this fight. The fight's not going to happen this year. I'm just telling you that right now. All the information that I've received and I've found, it's impossible for this fight to happen this year. Wilder's going to fight Fury again. There's going to be a Wilder Fury 3, and there's going to be a Joshua Usyk fight. And then we'll get this fight next year sometime. That's just the way it's going to go, guys. This fight's not going to happen. No, it's very possible I can almost tell you definitively this fight is not going to happen this year. And then your response, then people's response is going to be, Beeb, you don't want the fight. It has nothing to do with what I want to. Listen, I want to go out on a date right now with Halle Berry, take her home to my house and make love to her 3 or 4 times. That's what I want. But if I tell you that's impossible, does that mean I don't want it to happen? No, it's not going to happen. Halle Berry would never give me the time of day, ever. That's a fact. Doesn't mean I don't want it to happen. That's the cop-out. Oh, you don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen. That's the cop-out. That's what he's programmed all of you people to say. That's what he's programmed all of you to say. That's what he's programmed every single one of you to say. Most definitely you will get a link, Troy. I love Troy. Here we go, my man. Imagine that. Imagine me going into a bank, applying for a loan or applying for a mortgage. Then I get denied. And then my reply to the banker is, oh, you know what? You just don't want me to have that house. You have something personal against me. It's not the fact that maybe I want to buy a $2 million mansion that I can't afford. I don't have the funds to the down payment or anything. It has nothing to do with all that stuff. It's just, you don't want me to have the house. It's not how the world is. That going to be the response every time, like, we tell the truth? Why is Bob Arum? Why is Frank Warren and Bob Arum being negative? Because they're being asked questions and they're answering the questions. And because they're answering the questions in a way that you don't like, then automatically they're being negative. Troy, I mean, I must be in bizarro world here. Tell me what I'm missing. You got to unmute you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Listen, I don't think if I'm Eddie Hearn and I'm a businessman and my family's been in this business for I don't know how many generations, I would never go into a fight and not know the whole situation. That's about the arbitration, the ins and outs and all that, because it would be a ridiculous waste of my time, energy, and money to get anything started. And then all of a sudden it could be yanked right from under me. So I'm sure he knows the ins and outs and all that. We don't know it because we're not supposed to know it, but I don't think he entered into this and he only knew like a part of a part of a part. He had to know the whole thing. And I don't think that it's going to, Wilder's retired. Why does his name keep popping up? He is retired, man. This fight will happen because it's the largest thing that's ever happened in the UK. And it's the largest thing in boxing, period, at the moment. Nothing is bigger than this. So it will happen. When it happens, whether it be later on this year or whatever, but it will happen.
It'll happen, but it's not going to happen this year, in my opinion. I
have to disagree with you.
It's too hard to put together now. Lots of things stopping it.
Like what?
The Saudi government.
Okay. What's going on with the Saudi government?
How are they going to agree to all these TV rights over there? How are they going to handle the COVID situation? That's another thing because it's the COVID case.
Didn't they handle all that? Didn't they handle all that situation with the Andy Reid fight? You know, what's the difference?
With the Andy Ruiz fight?
No, I'm saying yeah. The Andy Reid and Joshua.
We didn't have all these problems that we have right now.
What, the TV rights and all that? No.
Way different situation.
How is that different?
How is it not different? Because you only had the zone with that one. Now you have Saudi and you have all these other entities. You can't compare this fight to the Andy Ruiz fight.
It's
honestly, like apples and oranges. It's like
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's money and money.
We didn't have COVID back then. Bro.
Yeah, you did. You did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did, but it wasn't like it is now.
No, we didn't have COVID during the Andy Ruiz. No.
Okay, but anyway, COVID, Smovid, whatever. But the thing is, it comes down.
COVID, Smovid is not whatever because that's a problem.
It comes down to money. Period. Nothing stops money.
Guarantee you the fight's not happening this year. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee the fight's not happening this year.
Okay, you can't guarantee it because you have no way to do that. Just like I can't guarantee that it is going to happen this year because I don't have a way to do that.
You're 100% correct, but if I had a bet on it, I would say this fight's not happening.
Really?
Yeah.
I guarantee you that you're not that confident in what you're saying.
I am. I'm 100% confident in what I'm saying.
Okay, so you would bet your show?
Sure. I'll bet my
Really, you
show.
would?
I would. What are you
I
going to bet?
doubt it.
What are you going to bet me?
I doubt it. I'll bet you a nice vacation home in Jamaica, but I can tell you it's not a vacation. It's not a vacation.
I'll be honest with you. I'm just being honest with you, Troy. I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't believe. If I was confident this fight was going to happen, I wouldn't be making this video. There's no need for me to make this video. This is a shit video to make. You think I'm happy about making this video? Do I sound happy to you right now?
Well, the truth is, we don't know what's going to happen. So I just deal with the facts that I can see in front of me. If it happens this year, if it happens next year, it will happen, period. I don't know why Wilder's name keeps popping up. He is retired and he's irrelevant. He has no belt, has no fan base.
You don't know if he's retired, though, because he's out there training with Malik Scott. We don't know.
He's retired.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Why are all these other PBC heavyweights out there fighting?
And what PBC other heavyweights? Andy Ruiz and who else?
You had Adam Kwanaki fighting. You had Dominic Brazil fighting. You have Chris Arreola.
Adam fought when did Adam fight?
Kwanaki?
Yeah.
Fought earlier this year. He lost, actually.
Who did he win?
He got knocked out. He fought that the big tall guy there, I think it was the German guy or something like that. What was the guy?
Wasn't that over a year? That wasn't this year?
I believe it was.
I don't think so. I think it was a little bit longer than that, wasn't it?
I'll double check. Let me see.
Yeah. Andy been out for a minute, hasn't he? I'm not Andy. Adam been out for a minute.
And Wilder's been waiting in the wings for a reason. Because there's still, whether or not Wilder Fury 3 happens, which I think there's a better chance of Wilder Fury 3 happening this year than Fury Joshua happening this year.
I gotta be honest with you. What would be the purpose of a third fight? He got outboxed in the first fight.
There is no purpose.
He would lose
again. He would lose again. I'm not saying he would win.
He got bullied in the second fight. So what's the point of a third fight? I mean, because
it would basically be a stay busy fight for Fury, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, because to be honest with you,
that's my opinion.
It wouldn't serve any purpose, because if his fans were as great as talking as they were as paying for fights, then you could make a case for a third fight. But the fact is, his fans don't pay.
Kwanaki got knocked out by Hellenius last March. You're correct. It's been a while.
I'd say that was a while ago.
Yeah.
The only fighter I think that's on PBC that I saw fight recently.
Brazil fought.
When?
He fought that guy.
That beat Tyson and got beat Fury and got the bricks beat off him, right?
He fought Otto Wallen, yeah.
And he got the bricks beat off him, right? I know.
Yeah, he got the bricks beat off him.
And then Google Michael Kofi, Koffie.
He fought this year. Ajagba fought this year. All these PBC guys.
Ajagba's not PBC anymore.
Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know if Michael Kofi is either, but that's a damn good fighter to watch. But let's talk about something that's actually important in boxing, man.
This is very important.
Is it?
It's immensely important.
All right, well.
This is the fight boxing needs right now. I know you believe that. Come on.
Yeah, but we don't need the nonsense. So right now, all we talking about is a bunch of minutia about could be, would be, should be.
Percentage-wise, we'll ask you. I'm going to ask you one more question. Percentage-wise, in your opinion, what is the likelihood of this fight happening this year between Fury and Joshua?
Well, in my personal opinion, it'll happen this year.
But what's the percentage? Percentage-wise, what do you put on it?
I got it 90%. That's just my opinion.
All right, I got
too much money.
I got it 89% that it's not going to happen this year.
That's too much money. Let me explain something to you. When years ago, when Wilder came out and said, well, yeah, I'm fighting Fury, they didn't have a date, they didn't have a venue or nothing. I'm saying, man, this fight ain't never gonna happen. I think it took them over a year to actually get the thing made. So okay, well, I don't know why it took them that long. Because
let's look at history. You've been around a long time.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
Let's look at history.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Hagler. That took 3 years to make.
That was because of Leonard. That wasn't because of anything else.
Whatever. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. That was because of Leonard. There was no question about it. But it took 3 years to make. Pacquiao Mayweather, 6 years to make. Tyson
Floyd.
Whatever. Whoever you want to assign blame to, because Fury's being blamed for this fight not happening right now. Everyone's blaming Fury. That's fine. That's what everyone's doing. Everyone's saying Fury don't want it. So now you have Pacquiao Mayweather. You have Leonard. You have Leonard Hagler. You have you could even go back and look at Tyson Lewis. That took forever to make. Tyson Holyfield took forever to make. Right? All these fights take a long time to make.
Holyfield Lewis did take a long time to make. It took a long time to get there because Holyfield never mentioned him. He never mentioned Holyfield. And then once Holyfield was undisputed.
No, I'm not saying Holyfield Lewis. I said Tyson Lewis.
Yeah, well, same situation. He took step aside money because he could afford him.
Well, again, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Regardless of the reason, fights of this magnitude, you never snap your fingers and they just happen. There's all because of the two parties involved here. You know, and everyone's sitting there saying they keep having like these contracts, these rough draft contracts being drawn up, right? And time again, something's wrong with them. What is that telling you? A fight of this magnitude, both sides are going to have their demands, right? Mm-hmm. There's really no A side, B side there. Some people argue Joshua's the A side because he got more belts, whatever. But again, you can make an argument that Fury has just as much weight in this fight as Joshua, whatever. That's debate. That's going to be debatable. All right. But both guys think they bring just as much to the table, if not more than the other guy. And whenever you have a situation like this, it's never easy getting a fight done like this.
And in all reality, it should be.
But it's not.
Yeah, but honestly,
history's on the side of history supports my claims more than it supports yours. To be honest.
Yeah. But the thing is, me being a common guy who's been watching boxing for a long time now, when the fights are this big and the fans really want it, it should just get done. It shouldn't be any XYZ or any other nonsense.
And ultimately, they do get done, but.
But
more often than not, they don't get done when we want them to get done. Yeah. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, because that's the foolishness of boxing. Whereas
100%.
Whereas you take any other business, you strike when the iron is hot, and you wait till something gets to its peak and then you strike. This fight right now is at its peak and the iron is hot. Take it, because after a while, humans are fickle, very fickle people.
But are you saying? Mm-hmm. Again, and I hate to ask you this question. Go ahead. I have a lot of respect for you. I really do.
Go ahead.
Are you saying all these things based on what you want to happen or what you actually believe is going to happen? Because if we look at history, we can't ignore the past.
Okay.
The past has shown us.
You actually just quoted a Bob Marley song, but go ahead.
Well, I could never even compare it to Bob Marley. Shout out to Bob Marley. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to plagiarize him. But whatever the case may be, history has shown us fights like this, they don't get made over. They don't get made like that. There's always some type of drama and delay.
Well, okay, just to answer your question.
Am I right?
Yeah, but just to answer your question, I'm walking a tightrope. I really don't care for this fight because Fury's style doesn't attach itself to my soul. I don't like his style, so I don't
love Fury.
Really want to.
I'm a huge Fury.
If I could not ever see him fight again, that'll be great. But because I'm a fan, I just want to see Undisputed once more. So yes, I would like the fight to happen. If it happens, it ain't gonna bother me any, because I'm not that excited about seeing it.
Who wins the fight? Who wins the fight?
Joshua.
Wow. And
then, of course, in your case, you want Fury, right?
I don't want Fury to win. I know he's going to win.
Yeah, that's two things you know. You know Fury's going to win, and you know the fight's going to happen next year.
I'm sorry.
Do you own a DeLorean?
No.
Okay, damn.
You know what I have to apologize for? That I'm just so smart.
Okay. I'm glad you feel that way. But,
that's the thing.
But what I was saying
I'm a historian, man. I can't ignore the past.
There you go again. But you know what I'm saying is this, man. That's all great, but as most fans, because we're all humans, if this fight would just happen, we would watch it. But every other day, you got the Furies talking about when I'm going to walk away. Walk your big ass away, then who cares? I'm not going to care.
I understand that, but here's the
leave
thing.
The belt. If you walk away, leave the belt, and then White will pick it up. I'm much more interested in seeing White and Joshua. I don't want to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest with you, White Joshua would probably be a more entertaining fight style wise. Could.
I didn't hear y'all blow my nose.
I said White versus Joshua could probably be a more entertaining fight.
It would be, because big because they're both big punchers.
Yeah.
And as we know, White is not too, he's not too secure with his footing.
I'm going to be honest with you. In my opinion, and I could be wrong here, but I think the fury we saw against Wilder in the second fight, I don't think we see that same fury against Joshua. I think we see the fury that we saw in the Klitschko fight. I think he's going to show up to that Joshua fight.
And there's a reason why you won't see that in this fight, because he can't bully this guy because he knows how to throw it. He knows how to throw a jab and a step to the side. And Wilder's a big guy. Yeah, Wilder doesn't have the fundamentals. He has fun knocking people out, but he never really took to Mark Breland's teaching. The people blame Breland, but all you have to do is look at Vernon Forrest to see what Mark Breland could do.
Yeah,
look at Vernon Forrest.
Yeah,
because you telling me he could take a man like that and make him into. I would watch Vernon Forrest training over watching a Wilder fight because he's that smooth, right? So how does he take a man from nothing and turn him into that? But and here's the bad thing about Wilder: he has all the gifts to become a much more talented fighter, but he followed this platform.
He doesn't listen.
Exactly. Once you get it in your head that you have to be a buffoon or a villain to make money, and then you go away from the fundamentals. That's the thing. People talk about Floyd Mayweather. He never went away from the fundamentals ever.
Never.
While you were talking about this and that about him, he was training.
He was.
Yeah, that's the facts that people miss.
And people want to sit there and talk about how Canelo wasn't in his prime when he fought Mayweather, and that very well
he wasn't.
That could very well be the case. I'm not going to argue against that. But was Mayweather in his prime either? Mayweather was like 36 years old.
Yeah, he was 36 fighting a 23-year-old with no experience, right?
Well, again, the guy had 40-something fights. I mean, obviously, he fought Trout, he fought Lara. I mean,
no, he fought Floyd first. Those came after.
I apologize. He fought Trout before he fought Floyd, but he didn't fight.
Who exactly was Trout? The guy that beat Cotto and did what else?
I think his style. I think he had a difficult style to deal with, though.
Yeah, Trout was good, but then
you got to give. I think Canelo fought Lara immediately after Floyd, so he fought 3 slick fighters in a row.
Yeah, so
those are 3 difficult style matchups for him all in a row.
Right. Before we go off on that, it's something I want to kind of just change the subject about. Talking boxing.
Go ahead.
There's a couple of fighters I'm paying attention to right now. Ennis, right?
Oh, I love Ennis.
He kind of reminds me of a young James Toney, not all the way, but
parts of it.
I'm talking about his subtlety in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Because if you watch young James Toney, James Toney throughout his career, his most powerful weapon was his subtlety. After he fought Mike McCullum, he wasn't that all out trying to kill you guy. He learned subtlety, right? And that's what Ennis has. But he plays around in the ring too much, and he's gonna catch up to him. But he's subtle, right?
Well, because to add to what you're saying, this is a guy that takes small steps, and makes you miss by inches. But here's another thing.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. But here's another thing that makes him so dangerous. The way he's able to move his feet and stop and get set and punch so quickly. So as soon as he's moving, the way he can stop and pop so quickly, he's catching a lot of guys off guard. They can't time him.
And he has great eyes too, because you can't do that without great eyes. You can't.
It's basically it's all reflex. It's basically gifted hand-eye coordination reflexes.
Yeah, and then there's another cat who I'm big on is Michael Kofi, because I see he's a guy that works off of hard work and instinct. But I think he should have fought already again. He should have fought already again by now. He knocked out some cat who had more experience than him. I can't remember the cat's name.
I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah, the heavyweight guy. Yeah.
Right, and he did it pretty too. I haven't seen somebody.
Isn't he promoted by Don King?
I don't know who his promoter is.
I think he's promoted by Don King. To be honest with you,
I hope to God not. No.
That could be the problem. That's why he's not fighting regularly. That's the problem. He beat Stavern. Didn't he fight Stavern?
No, man. You talking about Brian? You talking about the guy who owns the WBC whatever belt now?
No, it was another guy. I think he was supposed to fight Stavern, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's not him. His last name is Brian. His last name. Ask somebody. Ask the chat because I'm pretty sure his last name is Bryant, the guy who last beat Severn. He's the one who's promoted by Don King.
No, but he was supposed to. There was a guy who was supposed to fight Severn, but the fight didn't happen.
No. The fight did happen.
Okay.
The fight happened, and nobody really knew about it. And now he's the WBC something belts holder. Okay. You know how many belts? It's just
yeah. He was like the. I think he was like the interim. I think he was the interim champ. Bryant isn't Bryant? Yeah, he's the interim guy.
Yeah, but the truth is, Michael Kofi, that's the Coffie. I like him, man. He's very instinctual, and he uses his eyes a lot too. He uses his eyes to see, and then he'll fire right back at you. I'm really digging him, man. And there's a 6'2" welterweight, Jamal
James.
There you go. Let me be honest with you. That cat is wasting his height. Watch his fights. He's fighting guys that are 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", and where is he? He's on the inside with them.
He'll be junior middleweight. We actually interviewed him on this show, and he's looking for a rematch with Ugas. He had a tough fight with Ugas.
Yes, he did. And
but
if he would have used his reach, he would have beat Ugas. If he would have used his reach, he beat Ugas. But the fight I always wanted to see, call me crazy, is against Laura at say like 154, but now Laura's at 160 and all of that. So I know it's not going to happen, but I would have loved to see that fight. Both of them came out of Cuba and all of that. It's kind of similar type style, right?
I got you.
Yeah, because Ugas is one of those guys that he's just good enough, but he doesn't have the it factor.
Did you think Ugas beat Porter when they fought? Because I
never saw the fight.
I had Ugas winning that fight actually, like 9 rounds. I actually had that fight like 8 rounds to 4. I think I had 9 rounds to 3 for Ugas. I thought Ugas clearly won the fight.
I never saw the fight.
Now, Ugas is a tough out.
Yeah, he's very good actually, and he looks good when he's on. Let me tell you what,
he's going to give Spence a run.
Yeah,
he's going to give Spence a run.
The truth is, I'm tired of hearing Spence and Crawford. I don't ever want to hear their names again.
I'm aggravated with that too.
Yeah, I don't care because to me, that's another fight that you could just make.
I'm tired of hearing Pacquiao attached to either one of those guys because he'll never fight either one of those guys. Never.
Yeah, because see, to me, that's another fight that reached its peak and then it never happened. You two dudes are in your 30s and you telling me you're not gonna fight each other? You two are the best there is at your weight class, and you're gonna let time pass you by, and all you're gonna be because really, neither one of them. I mean, Crawford has done stuff that would pretty much get him into the Hall of Fame right now. Spence hasn't done anything. I'll put him in the Hall of Fame right now, I believe.
Yeah, because Crawford, got titles in 3 divisions. He unified a whole division, 4 belts.
And I would give him the biggest FU in the world. I'll move up to 154 to see if I get another belt, and I'll just add on to what I'm doing just to prove to him I don't need you. All I got to do is keep adding belts, and I'll just add to my legacy. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest FU in the world because at the end of the day, it goes back to us, the fans. We want to see these fights, but why aren't they happening? I don't want to hear about TV and business. That has nothing to do with us.
I think. What do you think of this fight? The fight this weekend with Parker versus Chisora. I think Chisora is going to upset him.
I like both dudes, man.
I think Chisora is going to upset him.
Yeah, well, listen, Chisora is not going to win this fight. He's in the twilight of his career in all reality, right?
He's got Jamaican roots. You got to be pulling for him. He's got Jamaican roots.
He's from Uganda.
He's not. He doesn't have Jamaican roots.
You talking about White?
I know White was Jamaican. I thought Chisora was too. No.
No, man. He's from.
Okay.
He's from Uganda. Listen, I actually like Chisora. I like Parker, but knowledge is knowledge, and oh boy knows he's on the twilight of his career. So what he's doing now, every fight he takes, is just retirement plan. He fought Usyk, got a couple of million. Sure, he's getting a couple of million now.
Oh yeah.
It's just, and he's already worth 20+ million. From my understanding, it's just he's just banking for retirement. Listen to me. That's what you got to love about the UK. If he was an American heavyweight, that had the same record, he doesn't make 20+ million over here.
No bank.
Because we have this prevailing stupid attitude that says if you have that many losses, you can't be good. Absolutely not. His losses are actually, bigger than most heavyweights wins. He got Klitschko, he has Fury, he has White, and a couple. Who's the other one? David Hay. You can't name another heavyweight not named Joshua who has a resume that's even close to his.
He fought Fury twice too.
And let me tell you what, that's the best I've ever seen Fury. People talk about whatever. When he switched to southpaw, he looked damn good. This is Fury.
I can't believe you don't like Fury, man. Fury's a G, man. He's a fucking G, man.
When I saw him in the Chisora fight, he looked pretty damn good. But overall, nah, I'm not interested in what he does.
Wow.
And then his father.
Let's let this guy in Hammond. I haven't heard from him for a while.
Okay.
He better not ramble. Once he starts rambling, I'm getting him out of here.
I don't know who he is.
Go ahead, Hammond. What's up?
How's it going? I was looking to come out for about 10, 15 minutes. I was just
Don't
saying.
Ramble. Don't ramble. Don't ramble.
I was listening. Do you guys reckon this Joshua Fury fight is going to happen this year or not?
No, I don't think it is. Troy says yes. I say no.
Yes.
I say no.
Well, I'll just say this. I think it's 50-50. I've been to Saudi Arabia in July. I can't see that fight happening in July or August. It's almost 100 degrees. And you gotta listen to what Bob Arum was saying. He said not just agreeing the site feed, they haven't even got a broadcaster sorted out. Neither is the venue. We don't even know where the venue is. So all this Eddie Hearn, jabbering on about Troy, you guys for background. All this about the site fee. There's a million other things they got to sort out. I think they left it too late. We're in May already almost, and I think this fight's going to happen either early.
We're in May tomorrow, Hamid. Tomorrow's May 1st.
And we still haven't got a deal on the site fee. So I think the fight happens maybe this time next year at Wembley if they both win the next fights. If not, maybe it happens later this year. But I doubt it happens.
You know what drives me crazy, and I'm going to get a little political here, and I apologize ahead of time. I know this isn't it's not the forum for this, but I'm going to say it anyways. So when Wilder and Joshua were going back and forth negotiating, when they had that whole drama going on, everyone was saying the fight should be in the UK, and I get that. I mean, the UK fans, they're great fans. Of course, they're going to want the fight in the UK. I don't have an argument with that. But now, like all these UK fans are saying, oh well, how they don't want this fight in the United States. But they don't mind that it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a country where men are allowed to beat their wives and get away with it. They're allowed to friggin' mutilate. They're allowed to mutilate They're allowed to mutilate the genitalia of their wives. They're allowed to throw acid in their wives' faces. Women can't even attend sporting events without their husband being present. Okay, then they're allowed to go out and kill reporters and get away with it, right? But everyone's cool with the fight being in Saudi. But the UK fans were so cool having the fight in Saudi. But they had a problem with the fight being being in the United States when it was
on Twitter. Have you been on Twitter? The things I've read, the UK fans are not happy. This is what I will say. There is a difference. Some of those stuff I don't think are true. I've been there. The reporters, I heard about that. That's not a good look for the country. But I will say this one thing. Right now, the fight can't happen in the UK, so there's no option.
Oh, I understand that.
Back then, I do agree though. There is a bit of a double standard because if this fight doesn't happen with the Wilder Joshua fight, you could maybe give Eddie Hearn and whatever matchroom a pass because Wilder didn't fight Klitschko and has never unified.
But
this fight, I think
I hate to interrupt you. My only problem with Eddie Hearn is trying to create himself as being the sympathetic figure. Like, I'm doing all the work. If this fight doesn't if this fight doesn't get done, it's not my fault. It's their fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the reality of the situation. That's what it's about.
That's what exactly I wanted to say. You got he's trying to shift the blame. I think you said that.
Hold on.
Okay. This fight.
I'm going to give you 5 more minutes, Hamed, and then we're going to bring in the PR person for Matchroom Sports in 2 seconds. His name's
right. All right, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm going on after you, brother.
All right. This fight can only happen in Saudi Arabia right now. It looks like because that's where I think they're negotiating. If the fight doesn't happen, then it's not going to probably happen this year. Maybe they look at it next year in the UK. But right now in the UK, there's no crowds available. I think there's only like a couple of thousand you could fit in maybe to Wembley. That is not going to sell out at Wembley because they're not letting that many fans out. And they want to fight in front of a sellout crowd. I'll say this: if the fight doesn't happen, you can't blame Tyson Fury or Joshua. You can't blame Frank Warren or Bob Arum.
No,
The reason they let it.
I'm
No,
not
no, I'm just
prepared to
saying.
blame anybody. I'm not
I
prepared to blame
I
anybody.
agree. I agree. But the thing is, Eddie Hearn he was the one who said, I've dealt with these guys and I'm going to strike the deal. So he had one job to do. And if he also admitted if it doesn't happen, he deserves to get the blame. So those are his words. Those are not
All
my
right.
words.
Okay.
So he needs to try and, I believe, trying to take a back step. And I think there's two sides to this story.
All right.
Either the fight's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. Bob Arum is 90 years old. The guy's been in the game for a long time. All this would not come along if the fight is under jeopardy. I'll just say one last thing. I personally think there's more than the site fee. Look, there's ESPN involved. There's BT and Sky Sports. Josh has got one more fight left with Sky. I don't know. I think there's more than just the site fee deal being agreed because
COVID's still a problem too. I don't care
COVID's a problem.
It's still a
And then
problem.
the UK fans won't be allowed to travel because right now, if you travel from the UK, you got to go on quarantine and you got to pay over $1,000 to stay in a hotel.
And then I heard that $150 million site fee is bullshit too. That's what I heard.
All right, well, let me.
That's a lot of money, but I'll let Troy get it. But
Troy,
I'll say
let me
that's a
let
lot
you
of
get
money.
in, and then we're gonna let the PR person of Matchroom Sports go after you.
Okay. Okay. Let me say this. All I keep hearing is Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn. What is Bob Arum doing?
Nothing.
Okay. So why is he not doing anything?
Because
He's a promoter, right?
Because it was his decision to not take the lead because he's already had bad experiences dealing with people in the Middle East.
Oh.
That's the
Okay. So
problem.
he's being lazy. Okay. Okay. Good. We can move
Well,
on.
he's
from
like,
there.
I mean, again, he's 90 years old. I mean,
Right. But he has people.
He always delegates. That's what he's been doing. Todd DeBuff is running the show over there. Really, he does all the
Good. So
does all the
I'm
heavy
not
lifting.
expecting a man that's his age to put out a lot of energy, but I'm expecting him. I expect his intelligence enough that he could pass on that to somebody else, right?
100%.
Wait. 1 sec.
Right?
Let me say so. Let me say this.
I agree.
Eddie Hearn promoted two fights: Callum Smith and George
Two.
Groves. Callum Smith and George Groves in Saudi Arabia. The final, he was part of the promotion, and he also promoted the Joshua Ruiz fight. Why wouldn't you let the guy who's already dealt with those people deal
Eddie
with them
Hearn has
again?
taken the lead. Eddie Hearn has made a decision. Eddie Hearn has made a decision to take the lead because he has a working relationship with Saudi, and Arum and Warren are saying, okay, go right ahead. Arum's already had fights offered to him from the Middle East several times, and they never came up with the money. So he's skeptical of dealing with the Middle East, so he's letting Eddie deal with it.
Right. But let me step in and say this: if you're in business, do you want to get your information third hand, or do you want to get it from the horse's mouth? Wouldn't you be right there, or you don't have a representative that's right there who could bring you the message from the horse's mouth instead of
they're all communicating via email, via phone. It's not like
that. No,
Eddie's not going to Saudi Arabia and sitting down having meetings with these guys.
Yeah, but the point is, though,
talking to them
they
over the
speak to
phone.
Eddie directly, and then he has to relay that message to, Top Rank. That makes no sense to me if that's the case. But
that's a good point. That's a good point. That's valid.
Right, but then again, we don't know. So we're talking about something that we just.
I know a little bit, but I'm not. I know a little bit what's going on, but
And then there was something else.
I could be I could be being misled myself too. I'm not saying everything I'm being told is 100% correct, but again, I have to use the circumstantial evidence. If it wasn't correct, then the fight would have been announced by now.
Yeah, and it also does the fight no good when you have the Furies constantly saying we're going to walk away.
But here's another thing: why if you're Saudi, why would you want to deal with 5 different people and have to say the same thing to 5 different people? Why can't one person just get the information and tell the rest of the crew?
That's what Zoom that's what Zoom meetings are for, or whatever. How they deal with that. You talking to how many of the people that you need to talk to, and all they have to do is listen. You don't have to go back and forth 5 times. You have 5 people right there. You speak your piece. It's up to them. It's up to them to keep the information. That's not up to you to go knock on everybody's door and constantly repeat yourself. You say it once. You say it once.
Eddie Hearn announced his fight last year. You can't keep saying 1 sec. You can't keep saying the fight's announced and then you're saying no, next week. You're taking the fans for a ride.
I don't understand. I don't understand how people don't have a problem. I don't understand how people don't question that.
No, because you know what it is. To be honest with you,
I'm confused.
Because I don't get involved with. I don't get involved with anything that doesn't happen in the ring. That's why I don't give a damn.
Okay.
If it's not happening in the ring, why should I care?
All right. Let's let the PR of Matchroom Sports go on. Go ahead, Papoose. Speak your piece.
B, why are you always starting? I haven't even said anything yet, and you're starting on me. Why?
I'm showing you the respect. I'm showing you the respect. I'm giving you props for your position over at Matchroom Sports.
Why are you starting?
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna say the things that we agree on first of all. So let's agree that the pandemic is a major issue.
100%.
There's no question about it. The pandemic is a major issue.
That's check.
We also have to agree that the fact that we're dealing with 3 separate promoters is also a major issue. That's going to cause logistical problems, communication problems.
Correct.
Various different issues, as well as the stature.
Egos.
As well as the stature and the demands of both the fighters.
There you go.
So these are all things that are going to cause problems. No doubt.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with that. However, when 2 of the promoters for one of the fighters are saying conflicting things, that says to me that there's a little bit of brinksmanship here. That in some ways maybe they don't want the fight to happen because they're not even on the same page together. They're not even saying the same things.
Can I be honest with you? There is motivation for them to not want the fight to happen for a couple of reasons. Because Bob Arum's a smart man, Frank Warren's a smart man. And I know people aren't going to want to hear this, and why do you talk about the money, this, that? In all actuality, by having this fight in Saudi, you're not maximizing the total revenue that this fight could make. I honestly believe, in my opinion, that Bob Arum wants this fight in Vegas. Because if they throw this fight in Raider Stadium in Las Vegas, where they can charge $5,000 to $7,000 for ringside seats, right? Where they can have the pay-per-view here on ESPN Plus pay-per-view at 9 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think, honestly, I don't doubt that there is some validity to people saying that I don't think that Bob Arum wants this fight right now. I'm not saying he doesn't want this fight at all. I don't think he wants it right now under these circumstances. I think there is some validity to that statement, in my opinion.
Okay. Let me, Hamid. Wait. Let me just answer that first. All right. So I would agree with you, but I think it's more of a promotional issue. That actually, I don't know this for a fact, but this is something I suspect that it's a promotional issue in the sense that where the fight happens and who is the lead promoter has a big drip down effect in terms of the revenues that each side, whether it be Queensberry or Top Rank, can actually make. It's not cool. It can't be a coincidence that Warren keeps talking about, we hope we can get the fight in the UK. Why is that? Is it because if the fight was to happen here at Wembley in the UK, you get a bigger cut? Just like
did he say that? Did he say that?
Yeah. He said he kept saying that he wants the fight to happen here. That he hopes if it gets pushed back, it can happen in the UK.
Yeah, I think the UK fans do deserve to have the fight.
There's going to be more. There's going to be more.
I'll be honest. I honestly think that the UK, money or no money, I think the UK fans deserve to have this fight in the UK because, number one, there are 2 UK fighters. Number 2, I think the UK fans are the best fans in the world, the way they support their fighters. They actually do buy pay-per-views when most Americans stream them. So, and they actually travel the world to go to other arenas in different countries to actually support and watch their fighters, where Americans don't do that. So I'll be honest with you. I think the UK fans do deserve this fight to be in the UK.
I agree.
If there was a choice, go ahead, Hamid. Hurry, go.
Let me just say this. Ideally, the fight has to be in the UK or America, because in America, the pay-per-view revenue will be a lot more. If they get that on pay-per-view and it does even $500,000 or close to $500,000, that's $100. What is it? The pay-per-view is like close to $100 there. I will say one thing though: if it's not if it's not in the UK and it's in Saudi Arabia, it's not going to be many fans. So they're not going to get a live gate there. That's a big problem.
It's
Yeah, but
not
that's
gonna be-
irrelevant. But that's irrelevant. The site. So the whole point is the site fee. So I was going to come on to this, but I'll let you finish your point.
No.
Then I'm
but
gonna crush Beeb. I'm gonna crush him.
No, wait. I spoke to someone. It's not just about the side fee. They still were going to fight in front of
again,
a crowd.
That $150 million could not be confirmed.
Wait, no.
It's quite possible that number is inflated.
No, but they still got to fight in front of a crowd. They're not going to fight in front of an empty arena in Saudi Arabia.
Gentlemen, I'm going to jump off and wish y'all the best.
All right, thanks, Troy. Have a good one, man. Be good.
They want a side fee, but they want some sort of fans for the Joshua Ruiz fight. There was 5,000 or 10,000. They want some sort of crowd there. Now in Saudi Arabia, I don't know if with the pandemic, I don't know at the moment if they also got an issue, and that is a problem.
Can I ask you a question, Hamid? Do you know how many fans are going to be watching that Canelo Alvarez Billy Joe Saunders fight next weekend in
70,000
Dallas Stadium?
Exact 70,000. That's what
about 60 something thousand. Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say. Do
you also know that Vegas on June 1st is going to be fully open with no restrictions?
Do you think this fight is big enough?
With no restrictions? Can I be honest with you?
In America,
this is a Vegas fight.
No, are these two guys big enough? One guy fought in America, got knocked out. Both guys are not pay-per-view stars. I think Fury is maybe a name, but in America, I know the fight is big. But if you put it on pay-per-view in America, is this big enough? As big as the set?
Because ESPN and Fox did a phenomenal job promoting Wilder and Fury. That fight did 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Okay, and that's what
Wilder's American. The Joshua's unknown.
It doesn't matter because Fury has really made a name for himself. He was on WWE. Casual fans know who Tyson Fury is, and Wilder has done a good job of promoting himself on social media.
No, I agree.
So
it takes
Beep. Where did that WWE appearance happen? Where did that happen?
Saudi.
Ah, really?
You want me to read you an article? You want me to read you an article that WWE has that Saudi owes WWE money? You want me to show you?
I don't want you to read that article. What I want to do is let's talk about the.
Saudi?
Let's talk about the prevalence of the USA taking this fight. So you keep saying that you want that the new Raiders Stadium would be the best place for it, and that's where Arum.
It would be phenomenal.
That's where Arum wants it.
That's where Arum wants it. I know for a fact that's where he wants it there. I know for a fact.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Let's say that's where Arum wants it. Let's say
he does want it there. He does want it there.
Okay, cool. So let's say they can configure for 50,000 fans. Yeah.
No, 60.
All right, cool. They can configure for 60,000.
Maybe 70.
Of those 60,000 fans.
Yeah.
How many of them would you expect in a normal world to be from where I am right now?
20,000.
Exactly. So how do you think 20,000 people are going to be able to get on a plane in July or August?
No, next year, sir. Next year.
Okay, cool. And that's why people like me are like, well, no, I don't want to wait. I'm sick of waiting. We don't know what can happen.
I respect your opinion.
We're sick of waiting. We just want to see the fight. We don't care where it is. I just want to see the fight. I agree
with that. But why won't people address this major issue? For months and months, they were talking about 2-fight deal. There's a media rematch clause. Now we all know that they want that.
It's impossible to have two fights now.
Yeah,
it's impossible to have 2 fights now.
Yeah, but this wasn't leaked. This was not leaked to the media until a couple of weeks ago. Accidentally, someone from Matchroom slipped it in. I think it was someone from one side. I don't know if it's Eddie Hearn or someone from there. Now, what I'm trying to say is that shows there is a problem either with the arbitration of Wilder or he's got some sort of say, because I was reading a couple of weeks ago, they said it's a 1-fight deal and the winner may have to face Wilder. So there's obviously...
Why would the winner have to face Wilder for? That don't mean
that's what I read on Sky Sports, and they were saying the winner
that would Hearn, like Joshua would have to agree to that, and he may not.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
No, but if they're gonna agree to pay him step aside money and say the arbitration is in his favor.
Yeah, but the step aside has got nothing to do with Joshua. That's the whole point. Joshua is not binded to fight him.
You're 100% right.
Even if he wins the belt.
But listen, what if Joshua was told the only way you can get this Fury fight and unify would be to deal with Wilder. What if that was a stipulation? What if that was a stipulation? That would be what if that was presented to Joshua? He may welcome that. Who knows? He may welcome that.
So for that stipulation to happen, that would also have to cascade down all the other belts. You know, he's got a WBO mandatory. After that WBO mandatory, he's got a WBA mandatory that's going to be due early next year.
That's correct. You know what? You know what's ironic? The one belt that he doesn't have is the one belt that doesn't actually enforce mandatories, and that's the WBC. All the other belts he has,
exactly.
He's the other. And that's why Fury can do it. Fury's in a better position, believe it or not, because guess what? If this fight doesn't happen and he goes and fights Wilder for a third time, that's a bigger money fight than any fight that Joshua could have, because Joshua Usyk is not a big money fight, right? Yeah, and also the WBC is never going to enforce a mandatory on Fury, because they never did on Wilder. It took them 2 years to enforce their mandatory on Wilder when Wilder was WBC champion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fury's in a Fury, and the reason why the Fury side is so frustrated is you have to understand they haven't fought for almost 2 years. Joshua fought in November. He fought like fucking 4 or 5 months, like 4 months ago.
1 year. It's over 1 year. He fought in February last year.
February of last year.
We're in April. Or was it like 2 months?
No, February to February is a year. Now you got to put March, April.
All right,
and now we're going to be in May.
Oh, by the time they fight.
It's been almost 2 years, brother.
You're saying by the time they fight, when Fury and Joshua fight. Yeah, all right, you're right. That's fair enough. He hasn't fought for over a year. By the time they fight, it could be
February to February is 1 year. Then you then you throw in March, and then you throw in April. That's 14 months. Right,
we don't know when they fight.
He hasn't fought 14 months. Joshua fought when?
December 2020.
He fought November, right, Joshua? December? Okay, he fought 3 months ago. So of course Joshua is not going to be as desperate to get the fight in as like Joshua can wait, because he's already fought 3 months ago. Fury hasn't fought in 14 months. I mean, you got to understand the circumstances here. Like, that's why Fury is a little bit more impatient with the situation. That's just normal.
I don't think these guys could keep dragging this off, or whoever the two promoters, whatever, because Usyk is waiting for the WBO.
The fight's not happening. It's not happening this year. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm trying to say. Jojo.
I hate saying it. I'm not proud to say it. I'm not happy to say it. But it's not happening this year.
If it's not announced by next week, I think it's dead.
I'm never gonna have enough money to buy a Lamborghini Diablo. Doesn't mean I don't want one.
That's what I like. Some people want it to happen. I want it to happen, but we got to be realistic. I do think it's right now looking like it's unlikely it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen
this year. I would like it to happen, but I don't know.
Bob Arum already said the fight's dead in the water. Not going to happen.
The thing is, when May and this fight, they still negotiate. To me, they left it too late, I think.
Yeah, but Hamid, let me talk. You say they're negotiating, yeah? What are they negotiating on? They're negotiating on key points of the site fee with the site owner, whoever that is. Whoever that is.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Whoever that is.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's more than whether it's a private entity that's in Saudi, or if it's the Saudi government and the Saudi royalty.
There's no broadcaster yet.
Right, Hamid, let me talk about that. Good. I'm glad you brought that out, because this is the bit I wanted to talk about, because this is something I know a lot about, based on my career in media for over 12, 13,
you work for
Matchroom.
You work for Matchroom.
I don't work for Matchroom. I don't work for
Matchroom. Of course you.
I don't work for Matchroom. I used to work for the broadcaster that Matchroom currently works.
Yeah, he works for Matchroom.
He works for Matchroom. Cut it out.
No, I don't.
I already did a background check on you. I know everything about you.
That's not true, Pete. So, all right, let's crush the first point that always winds me up, and you never listen about this one. You always talking about the pay-per-view revenue.
Oh God.
In the US being worth so much, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna do it. So we're gonna do it. So I understand from your perspective, you think Arum thinks the pay-per-view revenue would be worth more in the US. We do this fight at Raiders Stadium in Vegas, or whatever the case may be.
Yo, they don't have a deal. That's the point. Sky and
so wait, Hamid. So first of all, the site fee should cover any of the gate receipts that you're going to get from Radio Stadium. Now we can debate that. We don't know what the specifics are. Like you said, you think the 150 million. Some people have said 200 million. Some people have said 100 million. We don't know what those numbers are for the site fee, so I can't speculate on that. What I can say is, US pay-per-view would have a detrimental effect on the UK pay-per-view because of the time difference. That's the first thing. This notion that US pay-per-view is worth more is complete bollocks, as we like to say. It's bollocks. Do you want to know why it's bollocks? Because Sky don't have to give away half the revenue as a supplier, because they are the supplier. They are the supplier. So they keep all the money. And then obviously there is a ratcheted share that goes to Matchroom and goes to the fighters, because obviously Joshua has his own deal. So Joshua does a deal with Sky. He doesn't do a deal with Matchroom and so on and so forth.
Okay.
In the US, $80 pay-per-view that gets slashed down to $40 at a maximum. Obviously, some of the suppliers.
It's not 50-50. It's actually 60-40.
Yeah, 60-40. That's what I was going to say. It depends on the supplier. There's different ratchets.
It's 60-40.
Well, from what I understand,
cable companies only get 40%.
From what I understand, some cable companies are still keeping 50-50 depending on the state.
Not recently.
Right. So digital distribution. So let's say 60-40. And now digital distribution is taking over. Hence why DAZN said that pay-per-view is going to die, because digital distribution means you keep all the revenue. There is no supplier. There is nobody that you have to share it with. There's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure to carry your broadcast.
ESPN Plus allows you to buy allows you to buy the pay-per-view on the app. Which guess what? Guess what happens now? Guess what happens now? About 40% of the pay-per-view buys now are digital. Did you know that?
Absolutely. I did know that. I did know that.
Why do you think UFC exclusively uses ESPN Plus for pay-per-views?
Exactly.
There you go. Now you're learning. Beeb's giving you school lessons for free here.
But Beeb, but I knew that anyway. Beeb, what was the first thing I said though? What was the first thing I said? I'm 52
years old. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Don't ask me questions about what the first thing you said.
The first thing I said was US pay-per-view would have a or doing the fight in the US would have a detrimental effect on the UK pay-per-view.
I'll tell you why.
Because of the time difference.
No, it wouldn't. Because guess what? What is the second highest pay-per-view buys in UK history? What is it?
So number one is
Joshua Ruiz.
No. Number one is still
Joshua Klitschko.
Mayweather Hatton is second one.
Joshua Klitschko is still number one.
Guess what's number two?
Mayweather Hatton.
No,
I think it's the McGregor fight.
Mayweather McGregor's number two.
Yeah, it's a McGregor fight.
And what time did you guys think? Because you guys are the best fans in the world. We suck. Hatton, I think. We suck. You guys are the best fans in the world, because you guys will stay up to 5 a.m. to watch a fight where we losers will not. So that's the difference between you guys and us guys. So it would not have, because why did all you guys stay up to watch a fight that was ridiculously one-sided in Mayweather McGregor, that you already knew Mayweather was going to win, but you still stay up to 5 a.m. to watch this? You'll stay up. You guys will stay up to. You guys will stay up to 5 a.m. You guys will stay up to 5 again, because you're a hater. But these guys, you guys will stay up to 5 a.m. to watch our pay-per-views, because we are
the casual fan did. The casual fan did.
Well, it will not. This fight will not hurt you. Will not hurt the UK.
Yes, of course it would. No, it won't. Of course it would. We would break 2 million pay-per-views if the fight is in our time zone, and that includes Saudi.
At the bare minimum, this will do 1.7 to 1.8 million pay-per-view buys in the UK.
Well, I got the number.
Bare minimum.
Mayweather Hatton did more than McGregor Mayweather. Mayweather Hatton did
1 million.
Look, I got the number here. World Boxing News.
It did not.
Look at the number. Look, one. Listen to what I'm saying.
Google it right now. Google is your friend.
World Boxing News.
Highest pay-per-views in UK history. Watch this.
Well, according to World Boxing News, they got Mayweather Hatton at
Wrong.
1,150,000.
Wrong.
Mayweather McGregor is 1 million and 7. 1
Wrong.
million buys and 7,000.
Wrong.
Whatever that is.
I'm pretty
Wrong.
sure it was the McGregor fight that was.
It was
that's
the
got the
McGregor
number two
fight. I know
slot.
for a
I think it's
fact.
a Hatton fight.
I know for a fact.
All right, what website? Let's see.
I'll pull it up.
Well, that's World Boxing News. I don't know if there is.
And then
numbers
I think number three would be Ruiz, and then number 4 I think is the Pacquiao, and then underneath that you get the Hatton fight.
Well, they claim the Parker fight did the most, but they added, I think, the pay-per-view numbers from the the delayed replay.
Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton did 1.1500. I apologize. You're correct. You are correct. But once again, though. Wow.
Oh, you got a point, though. You got a point.
It was close.
You got a point.
It was close.
That's a lot of buys. That's a lot of buys.
It was close. So think about this. Think about this, right? The top UK pay-per-views. It says Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker did 1.8.
That added up. That number really is not for the live people. That added up. I think it was the delayed. Was it? You know the replay the day after, or whatever. The real number I think is Klitschko Joshua.
Yeah, but Hamid. Yeah, I think it's Joshua Klitschko. But Hamid, those the next day replay still counts because somebody still had to buy it.
No.
Yeah,
but they
that's
counted
correct.
they counted a week of the thing because I remember I posted.
Yeah, it's called Vosdale. Hamid, it's called Vosdale, viewed over 7 days as live, but it doesn't matter. You still have to pay for it.
Floyd Mayweather, and Manny Pacquiao.
The 900,000, I think, something.
But if you look at this, history has shown us that you guys will stay up to watch the pay-per-views because why? Mayweather Hatton did 1.150, right? Mayweather McGregor did 1,007,000. Mayweather Pacquiao 942,000. Mayweather Hatton 900,000. So again,
Mayweather Hatton did more than that. From the numbers I know.
When you go to
some of those numbers on the inside.
When you go to various websites, you're going to get different numbers. Some websites are going to have. So let's go to this one right here. This one's going to tell us different numbers.
I agree. Do you think this fight could sell though if it's on pay-per-view in America in the afternoon?
That's my point. I don't think it does.
It's not going to sell. If it's on at 1:00 in the afternoon in America, it'll do tops 800,000. If it's on
that's too much, man.
If it's on in prime time, guess what it's going to do? At least 1.6.
You're overestimating the value.
Yeah, people. I don't know where you're getting these numbers from.
Never.
What? I reckon if that fight is afternoon.
Because guess what happens? Because of the fact Jake Paul sold 1.6 million pay-per-view buys fighting friggin'
but Jake Paul's not a fighter. He's not a boxer. That's no point. He's not a boxer.
Popular. He's more popular than both these guys in America. In America, Joshua and Fury and Joshua are British guys, man. Joshua, look, he's probably the biggest star in the UK and arguably the second biggest after Canelo. If you just want to talk about on his
Wilder Fury in America, so you don't think this fight does more pay-per-view buys than Wilder Fury?
Wilder was a bigger name in America than Joshua. Joshua's not American. Like Joshua never fought on pay-per-view. He never sold out. I think he sold out Madison Square Garden. But after that fight, he got knocked out.
Everyone knows. People know who they are because they're being talked about on ESPN, Fox Sports. Come on.
Yeah, but you were talking about.
But will they part with money? Will they part with money? Will they part with money to watch them? It's one thing knowing who they are. It's a different thing parting with money, which leads me to my final point about the broadcast thing, and then we'll go on about why I think Hamid said, "Oh, we've got broadcast issues," and why that doesn't make any sense.
Those are Bob Adams' words.
Yeah, and I think he's bullshitting.
No, but he's got it right.
Because you believe the people who
No.
And everyone else is lying.
Let me speak. Let me speak. So I don't think a fight like that at prime time in the US which obviously has a detrimental effect on the UK pay-per-view, is going to do big enough numbers to offset the time difference in the UK. So you put it at, you know, whatever time, 10 o'clock in 10 o'clock Eastern time, or even 10 o'clock Pacific time. That has a massive detrimental effect on the UK viewership and wouldn't make enough money, in my opinion, to offset the losses that you're going to make in the UK. But who would that benefit? That benefits Bob Arum. Benefits Bob Arum for that to happen. Benefits his deal with ESPN for that to happen. Hence why he would leverage for that to be a requisite of the deal, or the requisite of any fight.
I already told you that's what he's doing. I already told you that.
Exactly. So the value, and Bob has learned this recently himself, the value isn't just in the domestic rights. The value is in the international rights. That's where you make the money. That's where you make the bigger numbers. And Eddie Hearn knows this. DAZN know this. BT know this. Sky know this. Everybody knows this. If you hold the rights and you can sell those internationally, or you share, if you're sharing some of that revenue, if there's a rev share with the promoter who says, I want to keep all my rights and then sell them on an international scale to individual countries or individual broadcasters.
You can always do that, though.
That's where you're making.
You can always do that.
What do you mean you can always do that? Because I think where we're missing the point.
You can always do that, no matter where the fight is. Doesn't matter.
But it does, because if the lead broadcaster wants to take those rights and distribute them themselves in conjunction with one of the promoters, then it's going to limit the revenue for somebody else. And I think that is the bit that's missing. Like, they know if DAZN did put up the rights fee, if DAZN don't get the fight in the UK, they don't care, because they're happy to put up a massive rights fee to be able to distribute it in the rest of the world.
Well,
that's how Joshua makes all his money.
DAZN's not getting the UK rights. Sky's getting the UK rights.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. DAZN would be happy to put up a massive rights fee.
One thing.
DAZN's getting the international rights everywhere except for US and the UK.
Absolutely, which is why DAZN won't have any problems. They know they can put up a massive rights fee, and the engagement they're going to get on the rest of the globe is huge. Especially because Joshua is a much bigger star in other parts of the world than. I don't want to be harsh or rude, but then some myopic US fans realize they don't see outside of their obviously, you know, the US is a big country, but they don't see outside of that. They don't understand that there's other stars in the rest of the world.
I already know that.
Well, Joshua got one more fight left on Sky Sports deal, and if this fight isn't on Sky Sports and BT in the UK, I don't think the fight will do as many. Will generate as many.
The one problem you're gonna have is between Warren and Eddie Hearn, because is Warren gonna want this fight on BT instead of Sky?
That's the point. The deal's done. That's why I think Bob Arum is chatting shit. He knows the deal's done.
But so where is the fight going to be on in the UK? BT or Sky?
That's what
it's going to be on both. It's going to be on both pay-per-view. Both pay-per-view.
How are they going to do that?
Because it's easy. Because if you're a BT subscriber, you can buy it through your distribution on your BT platform. If you're a Sky subscriber, you can buy it through your standard
HBO Showtime. Like that.
It's the same principle. Yeah, and also, if you don't subscribe to either,
don't you have both of them? Aren't you subscribed to both?
No, I'm a Sky subscriber in terms of the actual infrastructure, infrastructure, the box that you have, who you pay for all your channels.
Because you work for Matchroom, you get a special deal with Sky. Is that why you have Sky?
I don't get free Sky anymore. I used to, not anymore.
But that doesn't your benefits package with Matchroom give you Sky free?
No, because it wasn't with Matchroom.
You got to talk to Eddie about that, man. He's doing you wrong now all of a sudden. What happened?
Edward doesn't talk to guys like me.
Come on. I heard he signs your checks.
I'm laughing in the background.
No.
Anyway, the point is that the
But they haven't
infrastructure.
announced the deal. Can I say?
But they don't need to,
Can I
Hamid. They
just
don't
say-
need to announce it until the fight's announced. You don't need to say anything more. The guys know. They know what it is. Even
Of course they're
Markowski.
going to-
Even Markowski gave it away.
Yeah,
Markowski was
wait.
like, "Yeah, we'll be happy to have international rights."
Yeah. Arum already gave it away too. He was talking
But
about
that's
it before.
DAZN, because DAZN. No, but he also said it's going to be on ESPN pay-per-view, but he also said we haven't sorted out the deal. So I mean, what is he? Is he telling them? I don't know. I'm just saying you got to sort that out. Like he hasn't sorted. He said he hasn't sorted it out. So
Saudi's going to want to show the fight there too. So they're working out the situation with how Saudi's going to broadcast it to their people over there in Saudi.
do you think it
That's-
should be on
that's-
pay-per-view?
But
That's how.
But that's got nothing to do with anyone. As far as I'm aware, as well,
Sure.
the zone is
In
in
America.
Saudi Arabia. So
yeah, they are. They are.
Do you think it should be on pay-per-view in America or on ESPN? Because if they put it on ESPN Plus and DAZN,
It is going to be
I think that could
ESPN
do-
Plus. It's going to
and
be
put
on
it on
ESPN.
ESPN.
Wait a minute. This is what Papoose doesn't know. It's going to be offered on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, meaning
yes.
that if you have ESPN Plus, you're going to have to buy it through ESPN Plus.
That's
which
what
would
I'm
make sense.
saying.
Of course, it would make sense. Of course, it
So-
would make sense.
So that way the pay-per-views may end up being 60, and they can afford to make it 60 because they don't have to give up that percentage to the cable providers.
Absolutely, that would make the most sense for them
That's
to
what
do.
the UFC. That's how much the UFC pay-per-views.
Yeah,
cost.
because UFC as well. They
It costs $60.
yeah, and they can. Well, I thought they
I
put the
don't
price
know.
up from early 2021. I thought they put the price up again from 2021.
Do you
I just
think,
bought
do you
a
think
U-
they need
I bought a UFC pay-per-view last week for $60.
to put it on pay-per-view? Yeah, but do you think it's in the afternoon? It's not going to do
How much do UK
Great.
pay-per-views cost?
numbers. I don't think it'll do even. I don't need to 25.
How much do UK pay-per-views cost, Papoose?
20
25
quid.
or
20
30,
quid.
but
So,
that's fine.
How much?
yeah,
25,
for this, for,
20
for-
bucks?
25.
no, 20 quid. 20 quid. So it's about $28
25.
or something.
$28 in America, correct?
No, it's 25 pounds.
It's not 25 quid?
It's 25
It's 20. It's 20 quid, but they'll probably put it up. They'll put it up.
This fight will be 25 quid, won't it?
Yeah.
It might be 30. It might be 30.
Yeah.
They might even put it up.
No, it's get mixed from Joshua Ruiz onwards. The pay-per-view has gone to 25 pounds. The rematch for this fight, they're saying it's going to be 35, probably 30 or 35. Now, what I'm trying to say is, in America, if this fight is at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast and 5 o'clock in the evening, is it better to not even put it on pay-per-view? Because I don't think, if I'm being realistic, look, if guys like Errol Spence, guys like Wilder in America, some of those fights were not bad fights, like Thurman and Pacquiao. If those guys can't even do 500,000 pay-per-view buys, this fight, which is not in America, which is in Saudi Arabia in the afternoon, I don't know if it does even anywhere near those numbers. Like I don't know. Is it better to put it on ESPN and get good ratings? Like, you could get like 2-3 million people watching you on ESPN.
Yeah.
Even if you put it in
you're
prime
not
time, even if you put it in prime time, I don't think it
gonna
would
make
do big numbers. I don't think it would.
This will probably do about
Pay-per-view
1.5 million pay-per-view buys in prime time.
Come on, B, man. Come on, B.
Wow, we did 800,000 with the other with the other fight.
With a ton of promotion, behind it,
almost signed.
millions in promotion,
What do you think ESPN's going to do with this fight? What do you think is going to happen?
and that costs money. It costs money and it costs time. That's why people that know about sports and broadcasting know that the cost that that ESPN and Fox put into promoting Fury versus Wilder 2 was not offset by the pay-per-view buys that they got back. It was not offset by it. They put so much into marketing it, into promo time, putting tons into inventory. They had to break a big number on the pay-per-view buys, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, but you don't know. You don't understand how they promoted it. It was free promotion because they were putting it on Fox and ESPN were putting it on their own sports shows. That's how they were promoting the fight.
Absolutely.
Why are they going to charge themselves to promote the fight on their own shows?
Because it costs you something.
It was free promotion, brother.
So, Beeb, do you want to know how that works? That costs you something because
very little.
The reason why it costs you something is because you're essentially moving something else out of that internal promo airtime.
You weren't.
That's how it works.
No, that's not how it works over there. They were basically having the people like Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman talk about it, and all they were doing was putting a graphic up there, which is nothing. You know how much a graphic costs to put up?
Oh yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual promo airtime. So essentially, what would traditionally be ad inventory, but instead you carve it out and you use it to promote other shows across your network.
What I was told was that they put little or no money into the promotion because they were doing it on their own shows.
Which right?
When Fox had the NASCAR on, they were talking about this fight. Fury was showing up at shows. He was showing up at events. They were both showing up at events talking about the fight, and it was all free.
I'm not talking about magazine copy, Beeb. I'm not talking about him. Them appearing on shows or I've forgotten what the
wasn't a lot of money spent on promotion for this fight for that fight. I'm just telling you right now.
It was on the Super Bowl. It's like 5 or 8 million on that ad. That fight was heavily hyped up, and I think, look, it did that. Even that fight didn't do 1 million pay-per-view buys, and obviously,
which channel was the Super Bowl on?
Fox. I don't know.
So why is Fox going to charge themselves for an ad for a fight that they're putting on themselves?
Because it cost them inventory. That could have been sold to someone. That's the whole point.
But they already get. You know how much Fox generates in revenue through ads?
I'm not disputing that. But that's the point. That's 5 million that they could have sold to someone.
You think Fox just, again, but it wasn't, the spots were so small that it wasn't significant enough to put a dent in it.
They had to pay to put it, just for even that, whatever the hell it was.
Come on, it was less than a minute, for Christ's sakes. Cut it out.
Yeah, but that's the promo they got, and I think it helped it. I will say one thing though.
That event did not lose money. I can guarantee you that. It lost $0.
That fight, I think, was almost generated as many people who buys as they wanted. But according to Chris Mannix, said
$800,000. 800,000 pay-per-view buys times 80, and then. It did a $19 million. It did a 19. No, Arum told me it did a $17 million live gate.
You know what? 25 million.
You know what Joshua Klitschko live gate did in front of 90,000 people? It was an $11 million gate. This fight was in front of 15,000 people and did a $17 million gate.
Of course,
what does that
okay.
What does that tell you?
Different market.
Absolutely. So look at, exactly different market, and look at. Okay, so let's look at the biggest stretch.
Why is Eddie Hearn? Go look at Matchroom's boxing schedule right now, right? Why is like 60% of the fights in the United States in Matchroom's schedule, and why is like only one? I think there's only in the last month that there's like he only has one fight scheduled for the UK.
There's no crowds allowed in the UK. He can't.
No, so it's not just that, Hamid. It's because he's about to change broadcaster.
Yeah,
so
I know.
He can't talk about the other fights.
Why do you think Eddie Hearn has put on so many fights? He puts on more fights in the United States now than he does in the UK. Why do you think that is? He said it out of his own mouth. There's more money in the United States.
Yeah, because there's more money because DAZN are giving him more money to put on more fights in the US. That's why.
But again, you use your common sense. We have an economy that's 6 times the size of yours. It's just a fact.
No, nobody's disputing that. Nobody's disputing that, Beeb. But what I want to go back to and focus on is you said the gate for Fury Wilder 2 did 70. You said 17 million. Is that what you're saying?
It's a fact.
Yeah, 17 million.
It's a fact.
And you said
guess what Klitschko did. Guess what Golovkin?
Let me finish.
Guess what Golovkin Canelo did for a live gate. Guess what?
I don't care. It's not part of this argument.
27 million.
Don't care. It's not part of this argument. Joshua Klitschko, you said did 11 million, yeah?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So what were the international broadcast rights like for Joshua Klitschko versus Wilder Fury? What do you think they were like? Considering Klitschko's star power in Germany alone, his broadcast rights in Germany alone are astronomical.
Wasn't
Astronomical.
Wasn't that much. Wasn't that much.
That fight wasn't on pay-per-view in Germany. If the question is what generated more, I think Wilder Fury generated more money, but that's because they're two different markets. American market, Vegas, obviously. I mean, the seats in Vegas, some of those seats were like 5, 6, 7,000 grand. Like the seats I think in Wembley, the highest, some of those seats face value were 2,000 or 3,000 pounds. But obviously, when the what they call the touts start reselling them, they start getting more money. So that's why that.
Yeah, but Hamid, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. There's a 6 million difference. You're missing the point. There's a 6 million difference in the gate. But what's the difference in the broadcast rights? That's where the bigger stretch is. That's where the much bigger stretch is. Yes, it does, because that's how much a fight generates. That's how much revenue a fight generates. I'll give you an example. Overall, that's what we're talking about. Overall.
Yeah, let me just answer one by one. If you talk about overall revenue, then
what about the BT revenue? What about the international revenue for Wilder Fury too?
That's a good point as well. I mean,
but Hamid, that was my point. That was my point.
Who is the highest paid boxer in 2020? Do you know that? Do you know the answer to that?
Tyson Fury. Joshua Klitschko wasn't.
Who was number two? Who was number two?
I don't know who was number
Deontay Wilder.
Joshua Klitschko wasn't even on.
Who was number three? Who was number three?
Joshua or McGregor?
Joshua's number three. Why do you think that is?
Because that fight, didn't it? That fight was like, what was it? Both those guys got like $25 million each. This is what I'm trying to say. That fight between Joshua and Klitschko was a big fight in the UK, but worldwide, I think you could argue, especially outside Europe, that Wilder Fury was obviously bigger in America as well. Because
I disagree with that. Completely disagree with that. Wilder is not known. Wilder is not known on a global scale.
That's not the point.
Anthony Joshua, and Klitschko 100% are, and that is the demand that you get from international broadcasters.
You're starting to sound like a lot of the Joshua fans now. This is what I'm trying to say.
Well, he works for Matchroom. Of course, he's going to.
Yeah, but you got to be fair. You got to be.
Don't get mad at him. He's doing his job. That's his job. You want him to get fired?
Joshua Klitschko was a big fight.
This is his livelihood. He can't get fired from Matchroom.
Klitschko was one of the biggest fights.
Shut up, B.
One of the biggest fights, and in Europe and in the UK, one of the biggest fights. But this fight was in America, and the American market we know is a bigger market.
You know what Bob Arum told me? You know what Bob Arum told me?
It was on pay-per-view.
No, Bob Arum told me that Wilder Fury 2 with the digital pay-per-view buys did 850,000 pay-per-view buys. Generated 68 million. Okay.
Well, it had to, because both guys got paid $25 million each.
So it generated 68 million plus a $17 million live gate. And now we're not even adding in the sponsors.
Both guys got paid $25 million.
So if you add in, so based off, and we're not even adding in the BT Sport pay-per-view as well, because Wilder got a percentage of the BT Sport. How many buys did it do in the UK?
They never released the numbers. We don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't know the number.
Let's say it did 500.
No, it did more than 500. There's rumors of about 700,000.
Yeah, but there's no official number.
So 85 million. Okay, so now let's add in. Let's add in the UK buys. So 70 times $25, right? So 700,000
that's not
times 25. That's 17.5 million plus 17 million, right? Plus, hold on. Plus 68 million. So that was $102,500,000, and we haven't even added in the international revenue outside of it. I didn't add in the revenue from other countries as well. So based on the USA and the UK alone, right? That's 102,500,000. Which grossed way more than Joshua Ruiz 2 in that same year. Why is that?
Well, it wasn't in the same year.
That fight was a couple of months before.
A couple of months before.
Joshua Ruiz was on the zone. I don't even know what the viewership.
Oh yeah, that was in December of 2019, right?
That was only a big fight in the UK. And
let's see when Joshua Ruiz 2 was. What year that was in?
December 2019.
That wasn't a big fight. That wasn't a big fight in America. And the American market, like I said,
I watched it. Anything I watch is a big fight.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that first fight.
I watched it. It had to be big news. You think I'd waste my time watching a small fight?
The first fight was in America, and yeah, I think it sold out because of the Brits. But I'm not even sure how the viewership, because again, it's hard to measure.
Yeah, but Hamid, that's the whole point of
that was 2019. 2019, yeah.
Hamid, for a non-pay-per-view fight or a main broadcaster. So, for example, in Germany, Klitschko had traditional broadcaster carrying a lot of his fights. So it doesn't not that much money. So it doesn't. You can't compare the two. But a lot of the reasons.
Klitschko's an A-side in Germany, but he's not a pay-per-view fighter. He doesn't fight on pay-per-view because he had a.
But it doesn't matter if he fights on pay-per-view or not. It matters how much his broadcaster is willing to put up. That's all that matters for the rights.
But I thought if you're arguing about the revenue or what the fight generated, that's a different argument. I agree. Klitschko in Germany with the Hay fight did to almost 20 million viewers. So, I mean, but Joshua,
I'm glad you remembered that. That's the whole.
We're talking about Joshua and Klitschko, and that fight in America and in Germany wasn't on pay-per-view. And if you add all the Fury pay-per-view buys and how much that generated, I mean, it's night and day.
So what? It's not even close. But Hamid, you have to understand if he says anything bad about like Matchroom or anything like that, he can get fired. So let's cut him some slack. We don't want to see him lose his job.
You guys carry on. All I'm saying is you don't realize the effect that other countries pay.
I do.
5 million here, 10 million there, 7 million there.
You don't
6
realize
million here for international rights.
You don't realize that Wilder Fury 2 got some of that money, got some money from international rights as well.
And from what I know, not as much as we think. That's why DAZN was able to pick up the rights in a lot of countries on the cheap.
No, to be fair to Klitschko, we'll never know what that fight with Joshua would have done in America because they had a rematch contractually obligated, and I think that probably would have went to pay-per-view.
Joshua Klitschko did not generate more money than Wilder.
Not the first fight, but the rematch would have been in America. So
no, but I'm saying Joshua Klitschko did not generate more money than Wilder Fury.
Oh, of course he did. Because the Wilder Fury had one of the biggest gate after Holyfield and I think Lewis, and on pay-per-view it did almost $1 million.
No, they broke a record for that largest heavyweight gate.
It broke. It broke Holyfield and Lewis' record.
Meanwhile, but that's what I'm saying. It's so short-sighted. Just take the okay, cool. It did a big gate number, 17 million. That's cool. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, but
that's
what
great.
generates?
If we're saying that the stretch, but that's what I'm saying, Hamid. If we're saying that the stretch is 6 million between Joshua Klitschko.
That's a lot of money.
Fury Wilder 2. 6 million is not a lot of money. 6 million can be made up in two broadcast rights deals. That can be made up in two broadcast rights deals in two different territories.
Why did Joshua and Klitschko only make 15 million each, and Wilder and Fury reportedly took home 25 million each? Why is that?
That's what I'm trying to say.
You're smarter than this.
Different demands.
You're smarter than this. No.
Different demands at different times.
You're smarter than this. I know you don't want to get fired from Matchroom. I understand that. I'm going to cut you some slack.
The answer to the question. That's why generated more money.
No, it's not because of that. It's because of different demands at different times. It's the same reason. When Matchroom Joshua offered,
I got the figures right here. Joshua Klitschko. Hold on. Joshua Klitschko fight grossed 40 million in pay-per-view revenue, which was way short of what Wilder Fury.
But
did.
that's all we're talking about. We're just talking about pay-per-view. We're not talking about.
Wait a minute. In total, the fight generated an estimated $64 million in revenue from all sources, including Livegate, pay-per-view, and overseas broadcasting. I have it right here.
Of course,
that was
this is what I'm trying to say.
It was a $64 million fight going up against a $100 million fight. Again, stop it.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Stop it.
You said $100 million. Beep. You said $100 million fight. Yeah. What was your source for that? What was your source? $100 million. What was that? You just doing? Was that you just doing 850,000 times 80? Yeah.
No, I'm using the same source I use for Wikipedia.
No, even if it's not 100 million,
it generated $68 million in U.S. pay-per-view alone, plus a $17 million live gate on top of that. It was a much bigger fight, much bigger fight.
Joshua,
and then if we're being conservative here, it's a $100 million fight. 68 million, right?
This is what I'm trying to say. One had 90,000 fans
17 million
and did a less live gate. And
that's 85 million right there. So you mean to tell me that the UK pay-per-view didn't generate at least another 15 million? You mean to tell me that's unrealistic to believe that?
The UK pay-per-view for
if
that
the UK you told me the UK pay-per-view stole 700,000. Times that by 25. What is that? So
I don't know.
They had to share some of that revenue. They had to share.
All right. So again,
but it's the truth. It's the truth because BT are not a supplier. Sky are the supplier, so they had to share.
Even so, how much do you think it? Conservatively, how much revenue did it generate? I'm talking about gross here. We're not talking about who shared what.
I'm talking about net. I'm talking about net, Beeb. I'm talking about net. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about net. That's how we got into this argument, didn't we? Because we were talking about what did ESPN and Fox keep.
So this 64 million is gross. So 64 million in revenue from all sources, including live, gay, pay-per-view, and overseas broadcasting. So that's gross. So net's probably 30 million then.
What was the first thing I said about the pay-per-view in the UK? That if it's on Sky, they don't have to share it.
Doesn't matter.
They don't. So therefore, the gross in the net for their pay-per-view revenue is the same.
Did Joshua Klitschko generate less revenue than Wilder Fury 2? Yes, it's a fact. It's a fact. Both guys got 25 million each when Klitschko and Joshua got 15 million each. There's a reason why. Because the fight generated significantly more money. It was a $100 million fight versus a $64 million fight.
What were the guarantees for Fury and Wilder? I can't remember what their guarantees were. What were their guarantees again?
Like I think 4 and 5 million.
5 million each, but that don't matter. They got 25.
No. I was just trying to remember. I was just trying to remember what the guarantees were. Just trying to remember.
Very low. Only 5 million each.
This is what it says. Fury and Wilder had base purses of $5 million each, but they both had more than $25 million in guaranteed earnings. So basically, and the plus percentage of people.
Listen,
but basically, both guys made
the highest pay-per-view fight in the UK still generated significantly less money than Wilder Fury 2, which isn't even close to being the highest grossing fight in the United States. Why is that?
Wait,
Why is that?
Why is that? Say that again.
That fight,
the highest grossing fight in the UK.
That fight, both guys made
didn't even generate more revenue than Wilder Fury 2, which is significantly below, not even close to being the highest grossing fight of all time.
That fight didn't even gross more than just their purse. Both guys made together, the combined purse was $60 million. If you had the pay-per-view, whatever with that flip side, they were saying. So $30 million each. And now Joshua Klitschko fight, the whole fight, the revenue for that was, it says $64 million. I think it's night and day between those two. Like that just shows the American market and the live.
American market's that's why Eddie Hearn is promoting fights over here, and he's promoting more fights over here because he himself had said, like, if you were to tell me that the World Cup is bigger than the Super Bowl, I wouldn't argue with that. Most stupid Americans wouldn't know that, but I would agree. I would agree with that. So it's not like I'm just being xenophobic here. There's like soccer is the highest grossing sport in the world. There's no other sport in the world, or if you want to call it European or European football, whatever you want to call it, it's the highest grossing sport in the world.
I mean, look at it like this: Joshua Klitschko.
So I mean, I'm not being xenophobic here. I'm just being honest.
Joshua Klitschko in the UK would have had to have done 2 million or over 2 million UK people buys for it to generate the same revenue Golovkin and Canelo did.
But Hamid, it's not his fault if he speaks out against Matchroom. He loses his pension. He loses his pension.
I've just got into you lot's source because obviously you lot are just like, oh yeah, it's Wikipedia, so it must be true. So we're looking at all of these broadcasters, yeah, all of these broadcasters that showed the fight, yeah, across Europe, across the world. Obviously, DAZN had some. Well, actually, no, DAZN weren't even a player back then.
Yeah.
But we're looking at all these different broadcasters, yeah. And we can see here that the fight was watched by X amount of people on RTL, which is what I said. Yeah. Standard broadcaster, traditional broadcaster.
It was a $64 million fight.
But because Wikipedia says that and doesn't source where it gets it from, if you click on the source, the citation for the source, it looks like it's some kind of Men 1634 online source, i.e. Joe.com or
but
Joe.
All you gotta do is use your common sense.
All you
gotta do is use your common sense. If tickets
had 300,000 digital buys, Arum, that it says on Wikipedia. So that means the pay-per-view for that fight is over 1 million then. 800,000 and 300,000.
Listen.
No, so that's the thing. It's that cumulative number.
Are you going to sit? I've heard an interview where
Arum said the 300,000 was part of the 850.
Are you going to sit here and tell me you honestly in your heart believe that Klitschko Joshua generated more money than Wilder Fury 2? You're honestly going to sit here and say that? With a straight face?
Look, it's
no. I'm not going to guarantee that because I'm going to guarantee you that
all
I'm saying is,
Wilder Fury 2 generated more money.
Everybody gets hung up, particularly from the US. Everybody gets hung up on their pay-per-view numbers in their domestic market, but they forget about the wider world and the international rights and their value. It's the same reason that Bob Arum was scrambling around looking for international rights for the Lomachenko fight.
I agree.
And for the Crawford fight, because he knew that's where he makes his money.
That's a different argument, though. That's different
because those fights were not on pay-per-view.
Different argument.
And he was overpaying guys like Cal Brook.
Listen,
let me just read this one.
Listen,
let me just read this.
Soccer is not a popular sport in America, but it's the most popular sport in the world. It generates the most revenue in the world. I can't refute that argument. Why can't you just admit that no other country can compete with the United States when it comes to big fights? The highest grossing fight of all time was $600 million. That was Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Why was that? Because guess how much the tickets were? Some people were paying $15,000 for ringside
or 20. I thought they paid 20K. I thought they paid
50,000.
Do you know how many seats? Do you know how many seats? Oh, he ran up.
What?
Maybe he dropped. I'll put him back. Do you know how many seats were available for Mayweather Pacquiao to the public? You know how many tickets they sold to the public? Guess how much tickets they sold to the public?
20,000.
No. 500.
No, sorry.
500. 500. They only sold 500 tickets to the public.
The rest are all rich people. Look, this is what I'm saying. The Wilder Fury, this is on Wikipedia. The bout generated between 800,000.
Gotta let it back in.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he has that bad of internet. If he's getting, I would think Matchroom. I thought Matchroom would pay for his internet. Why is he getting such poor internet?
Because I press the back button on my phone. That's why.
Well, all right. Let me just say, do you have an iPhone? Do you have an iPhone?
Samsung.
Oh, good. That's one good thing I like about you. I bought a Samsung phone like me.
Approximately 325,000 of buys for the pay-per-view from a digital. So the pay-per-view number comes to 1.2 million. That dwarfs the Joshua Klitschko in the UK 1 million at £20. I mean,
it's not even worth a discussion anymore. It's just the facts.
What was Wilder Fury $80, isn't it? Yeah, I mean that number trumps. That's
what it is.
I mean, you can't
Listen,
compare.
UK has the best boxing fans in the world.
Yeah, I agree. But those two
United States boxing fans are garbage. We're the worst fans in the world. Sometimes I'm ashamed to say that I'm a boxing fan over here in the United States.
I wouldn't see all of those.
I'm one of the few Americans that actually buys every single boxing pay-per-view. I never stream events. I pay for all of them. I never talk bad about any fighter, no matter what country they're from. I always respect every single fighter. I never call fighters names. I never make fun of anybody. The only thing I criticize is Eddie Hearn sometimes. He misleads the public, but that doesn't mean I don't even.
Don't you think some UK fans are gullible? They'll buy anything. Like
I'll buy anything too. I'll buy anything too.
I mean,
do you know I bought Roy Jones versus Bobby Gunn on pay-per-view? Do you know that?
No, but I want to say, at least in America, you guys vote with their wallets. In the UK, they don't do that. Like to a degree, I get it. The fans are the best. I think in the UK,
they're the best. They're the most loyal. If I was a fighter, I'd want to fight in the UK. I wouldn't want to fight in America.
Yeah, but I think in America,
let's get back on track because I got to fuck off in a minute. Let's get back on track. If this fight don't happen,
yes,
there's from my perspective, there's obviously a few things that we agree on that can get in the way.
But Joshua's legacy.
What I don't understand is why are we not looking at the issues coming from Hearn, coming from Arum and coming from Warren, where it does not benefit them for the fight to happen now. Hence why they're putting out so much into the media that even conflict.
I am looking at that. I agree with you 110%.
Wait, let me ask you. Would you?
I honestly believe. I don't believe Arum wants the fight to happen this year. I think ultimately he wants them to have one fight each, and then he wants them to fight next year. I don't think he wants them to fight this year. I agree with you. I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it.
I gotta go. What if Arum and Warren are telling the truth? Would you rather tell the truth, or would you rather they lie and put a persona? Like I think.
But we know they're lying. But we know one of them has to be lying, Hamid. That's the point.
That could be one of them as well.
One of them. No. One between Arum and Warren have to be lying. Warren said this week. Warren said this week. This week he said on Boxing Social and on IFL that he spoke to the site and he's seen the non-binding terms and he's been assured by the site, whoever the site owner is,
No, he also said that the contract needs to be amended. He also said that.
Yeah, I didn't say that. He didn't say that. Arum is the one. Arum is the one saying that he hasn't heard anything. Arum's saying, "Oh, it's dead in the water. We haven't seen any contracts. We haven't seen nothing." But Warren's saying the opposite. Warren's saying, "I spoke to them this week."
Arum, I spoke to Arum. Arum has said we have not seen any binding agreements. Nothing is binding.
He said it was dead in the water and that it was a mirage. Those are the quotes from his various different interviews that he's doing with different newspapers.
Because Bob wants to see a binding agreement.
And Warren also said,
binding.
I gotta go back. I'll say one last thing. Warren said
not promissory notes.
Yeah,
binding agreements.
Warren, the last interview Warren gave with IFL, he said, and these are his words, that he said that Hearn is taking forever. He goes, if they don't do a deal in the next 72 hours, we're going to walk away. And now Hearn is saying, I want to try and close the deal by next week. To me, it looks like there's only one guy who's dragging this on, who promised that he was going to close the deal. And his words are, if the fight doesn't happen, you got to blame him. It's Eddie Hearn.
But once again, Hamad, let's not put the pressure on Papoose. We don't want him to get in trouble. We don't want him to have any jeopardy of losing his job.
Hamid, that don't make no sense. Hamid, you're chatting waffle now, rude boy. That don't make no sense. Warren said to IFL, he spoke to the site, to the site owner or the representatives.
Papoose, you would be a horrible lawyer. I'm sorry to say. With all due respect, you'd be the worst lawyer of all time.
Warren said that Hearn is dragging on the deal. He said he spoke to him and he was calling him during the interview and he had to put the phone down. He goes, Hearn is calling him.
He goes, oh, that's him now. Yeah, he goes, it's him now.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Did Warren, yes or no, answer the question. Did Warren say he spoke to the site?
In what interview? I didn't hear him saying.
Yeah,
that.
he did. He said he had a conversation with
All right, I haven't heard that.
He said someone from Saudi, a representative from Saudi, called him. Yes, that's correct.
All right, but I never.
But again, that's see what you're doing, Papoose. Stop, like you're grasping at straws because you're looking for anything positive that you can dig.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Once again, if there's a girl that I know and I see her walking down the street every day.
Yeah, but your analogies are rubbish. No, I'm not going down no long analogy. I ain't got all day. I ain't got all day. You got these long analogies. I ain't got all day. Beep. The bottom line is the story between Warren and Arum. The story. Answer the question. Hang on. The story between Warren and Arum is not adding up.
I'm walking down the street every day, and I'm looking at this girl.
Why are you doing these long analogies?
Let me finish it. I'm not going to stop. So I'm walking down the street and I see this girl that I love, right? And every day I just look at her and she looks at me. One day she says hi to me, and then I go back and say, "Oh, she said hi to me. Oh, maybe she's going to go on a date with me." No, maybe she just said hi to me. That doesn't mean that she's going to go on a date with me. You're looking for any little thing that Warren says or Hearn says, and you're trying to turn it into a positive. Just because he talked to them doesn't mean that the deal's done. You don't know what he said.
Did I say that? Is that what I said? No, it isn't. What I said was Warren and Arum's statements, outbursts, quotes, sound bites, they're not matching up. That's what I said. And because of that, it's quite clear that the two sides that are supposed to be representing the one fighter are not even on the same track.
What do you mean that they're not matching up? They are both saying that they can't wait anymore for Hearn to have an offer. They can't wait any longer for Saudi to present them with a binding agreement.
It's got nothing.
They're both saying the same thing. They're both saying the same thing. They're just saying it in different ways.
Different ways. Okay.
Now
different
it's
ways.
Tomato. It's tomato. This is what you're doing now. See what you're doing? This is what you do. You'd be a horrible lawyer.
The
judge would throw you out of court if you were a lawyer.
I want the fight to happen. I don't know whose fault it's going to be if the fight doesn't happen. But
it's nobody's fault.
From the outside, that's what I said. I don't know. I don't know whose fault it's going to be.
It's nobody's fault. It's just the wrong time for the fight. That's all.
From the outside looking in, it looks like Joshua wants to fight. It seems like Fury wants to fight, although we never know that guy. We never know.
Of course, it looks like that. You know why it looks like that? Because Eddie Hearn keeps telling you that he's doing all the work and no one else is helping him.
I didn't say anything about Hearn yet. I just talked about the two fighters. I just said the two fighters.
But again, when did Fury, when did Bob Arum, and when did Frank Warren say they didn't want the fight? When did they say that?
I never said that. I said that from the outside looking in, it looks like Joshua wants to fight. It looks like Fury wants to fight. Although we never know with Fury because he'll say one thing one day, then the next day he will change his mind.
Joshua hasn't said anything. How do you know he wants to fight?
Of course he has. If you look at his social media, he's clearly said he wants to. You know, he's happy.
Okay,
with,
so maybe
happy
he
with the
wants
times.
to fight. Maybe he wants to fight, but maybe he doesn't like the terms of the contract. How do you know he doesn't have a problem with the terms of the contract?
Quite possibly. Which is why I said from the outside looking in, it looks like they both the fighters want the fight. From the outside looking in, it definitely looks like Hearn and Matchroom want the fight. Why wouldn't they want the fight? Of course they do. I was under the impression Warren wanted it at first. I was under that impression. Yeah, I'm not so sure now because I can see why he would want to get an interim fight out where he can make some money for himself and not have to share it with anybody apart from Top Rank. I can see why he would want that to happen. And Arum definitely doesn't want to fight because he's clear. He's saying different things all the time. He's gone from 1 minute being like he's going to get done, and now he's changed his mind. He's like, it's not going to get done. We'll fight Wilder. So
I agree with you, and I'll tell you why. Eddie Hearn wants to fight under any circumstances right now. He just wants to get it done. He wants to make sure that Joshua is happy with the amount of money that he's getting, and he just wants the fight to get done. What I firmly believe, and I think you alluded to this, is Arum is concerned about how much money he's going to be getting, and he doesn't want to leave any money on the table when it comes to himself. So I think that Arum is looking out for himself and looking out for his situation, making sure he gets the most amount of money that he could possibly get. And he realizes under these circumstances that he's going to be leaving money on the table. Hearn may realize that he's going to be leaving money on the table, but at this point, I honestly don't think that Hearn cares as much about the money this time around, because he just wants to be able to say that I promote the unified heavyweight champion of the world, and I was part of one of the most significant fights in heavyweight history. And I think that's what Hearn's really concerned about. And I think Hearn wants to be able to say that.
Quite possibly.
I think Hearn wants to be able to say that he's been part of this.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible. My belief is, yes, part of it is his promotional ego, but I also think a lot of it is Joshua wants to fight now. They know it makes more sense to do the fight now, because if you don't do it now, there's going to be too many other things that get in the way. And if the fight might not be able to happen until the end of 2022, that's another year that we've got. Longer than that. That's another 18 months we've got to wait.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're prepared to wait that long, because you never know what might happen. You never know what roadblocks might get in the way.
Do you think if this fight doesn't happen this year, like, you may get laid off from Matchroom? You think you may get sacked over there because they won't have enough money to pay you?
Oh no, they got loads of money. If they were going to pay me, they definitely have enough to pay me. So the zone's putting up big P's. The zone's putting up the big P.
So do you think your job is still secure over at Matchroom?
I don't work for Matchroom, mate. Don't work for Matchroom, mate.
Where do you work right now? What is your current position right now?
I can't tell you that. I've got to keep it secret.
Were you CIA?
No, I work in media. That's all you need to know.
All right. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything here, man. It was nice talking to you once again.
As always, Beeb. As always, stop being such a hater. Be positive. Do you know what I mean? Stop being such a sourpuss like Arum, innit? What's wrong with you? Such a sourpuss.
I just want to live in the real world. I don't want to have to walk into a store and say, I hope I can buy that piece of bread, or I hope I can buy that gallon of milk. I want to deal with reality, and I want to deal with substance.
But that's got nothing to do with us. We're not negotiating the fight. All we need to do is sit back and wait. All we need to do is sit back and wait.
I don't want to deal with hopes and dreams. I don't want to be strung along. I don't want someone licking the tip of my dick. If they're going to lick the tip of my dick, I want them to put the whole thing in the mouth. I don't want just to be teased.
Why'd you have to say that to me for? Why do you have to say it to me?
Well, you got a guilty conscience. I didn't know you. I didn't know
I don't want that image in my mind. What you give me that image for? What's wrong with you, man? Sort yourself out. Sort yourself out.
I'm just telling you the reality of life.
Sort yourself out, mate. All I'm saying is, you're getting too hung up. Just like all the haters, we know what the cult channels are like. They are hoping so bad that this fight does not happen. They are hoping with every part of their body. Whereas me, I'm like, well, yeah, I want to see the fight. I want to see it now. But I'm not negotiating, saying, why am I getting hung up about it, innit?
I'm just frustrated.
Whatever happens, happens.
I'm just frustrated with the back and forth. That's all I'm saying.
But then we have to say to the media, stop asking, just like we're saying or just like you're saying, why is Hearn always chatting, or as I like to call him, why is Edward always chatting? Same thing with Arum and Warren. They're giving out quotes as well. Why don't they just say no comment? They could just say no comment. But they're not, though, are they? They're happy to put out contradictory statements here, say something else over there.
They all put out contradictory statements, every single one of them. No, none of them are better than the other.
Absolutely. Which is why we should just be like, all right, cool, whatever in it, and see what happens. Hopefully we get some kind of resolution to this in the next week. And I understand why it would take so long. We've been through this before. You're forgetting when I came on when we were chatting about Ruiz and Joshua. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we do remember that. Yeah,
exactly. And we were chatting like, oh, this fight's not the rematch is not going to happen when we think it is because Ruiz has got all the leverage and this, that, and the other. Big fights like this, they do take some time. Sometimes there's things going on that we don't know about, that both promotional teams cannot control. So we just got to let them do their jobs, innit? Just let them do their jobs, and we'll find out soon.
All right. Well, I'm still not confident that the fight's going to happen this year, but next time you see Eddie, tell him I said hi, okay?
Edward don't like you.
Well, I'm extending the olive branch.
You got to come out of the cave that's Fury's batty hole before you'd like you.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day, man.
Hold tight, babe. Hold tight.
Be safe. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Beebs out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Bye.